Dear data analyst, then I'm going to show you how to use Excel for complete data analysis. Okay, how to use Excel for data cleaning, how to use Excel for data analysis, how to use Excel for data gathering, and how to use Excel for the complete data analysis. I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know as far as Excel is concerned. So it's going to be a very long video, so make sure you watch everything so you can learn Excel in one video here. You don't need to buy any course again. You can learn your Excel in this particular video here. So stick to the end and see how to use Excel for data analysis. So here is our Excel interface. So this interface is like what Excel interface is supposed to look like for you. So this here is what Excel interface looks like in the Mac or in the Linux or in the Windows, okay? Because you can use Excel comfortably in MacBook or in the Windows or in the Linux operating system, okay? You can also have a web-based Excel, call it Excel Online. It has the same interface as this one as well, so you can use the Excel Online in as well for your analysis, okay? But mine here is an Excel for Windows, okay? So this is how Excel interface look like. You can easily enter any data here. You use Excel for data gathering, data storage, data input, or data analysis, data manipulation. Anything you can mention it, Excel can do them for you. So I'm going to be sharing with you here. You can see that we have all I'm going to be teaching you here. First is text functions in Excel. We have different functions in Excel, and the second is the Aggregate functions, like the sum, SUMIF, and those functions in Excel. Let me share it with you. So all these functions are in Excel, and the next one is going to be the conditional functions in Excel, the if, nested if, the ifs, and the switch functions. And we have the lookup functions and data validation. You can see a VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and the index matches. And we have the Excel table here. We have the conditional formatting here, and we have the Power Query, the pivot table, and then the pivot chart for data analysis and data summary. Okay, so I'm going to start with basic Excel because I know that you don't know anything in Excel before this video. So this is how the Excel interface looks like, and this here is what we call sheets. You can create your own sheets here as well by clicking on this plus sign here to create your own Excel worksheets. Okay, so this is Excel worksheet here, but I'm going to be deleting it now. I don't need it, so right click on that and delete it here. So this entire thing here, this one, all of them combined, what we call the Excel workbook. Okay, and each of them is the Excel worksheet. Okay, so this is our Excel interface here, but you can easily enter any data. Let me say I want to have my students' data in this particular Excel worksheet here. Now I can easily enter their name here, name, and their age. You can see I'm typing here into my Excel, and their gender as well. You can see their gender, their age, and their names here. So I can easily get in their names in this name column. So this is what we call column A. So the name is in column A, the age is in column B, and the gender here is in column C. Okay, so I'll be typing my names here now to the column A. So the first name is going to be Watts, and the second name is going to be Elon. Even though he's not my student, but no, I will still teach him one thing one day. So the third name is going to be Mark. Mark too is not my student, and the last name is going to be Sam. So their age here is going to be, this one is old, very old, and Elon is not old, 56. Mark is, I don't know if it's 25, and Sam is around 40 something. Okay, so these are my students' ages here, and then with their gender, they are all male, but let me just use some as female, even though Elon is not gay, so Elon is male, but let's assume that Elon is female for this particular class. Okay, so now these are my students' data here. Let me expand it so you can see them clearly. These are my students' data here now, so you can see that I've entered data into my Excel. I can easily analyze this data, clean this data, also format this data to my own specific taste, okay? But analyzing is going to be taking place here. Cleaning will take place here. So let me format it here now, okay? So I'm going to format this data. I can easily apply any format to this data here. Maybe you want to change the fonts, the font type. Come here. You can choose any font type here of your choice. You can see this is changing as I'm scrolling down. You can choose any font type of your choice. Let me choose this particular one. You can see it here. You can change the font size as well. So it highlights everything here, and then come to the font size here. You can see font size. So click here and then choose any font size that you can see it is changing. Choose any one of your choice, but that's too big. I think this should be okay. But you can also use this one as well to change the font size, either increase or reduce it. Okay, you can easily bolden your data or make it italic, like slants, or underline the whole thing. You can see you can underline the whole thing, but I don't want it bold or italic. or underline, okay. And again, I can easily give some of my text a background color like this one here. I can easily give some of, let me give all this gender here the font color yellowish. That won't be clear enough. Let's use green. Oh, green is not visible enough to you, I'm sure. Let's use red. Red will be visible. We can see it here. You can change the font color, the background color, or the font type, or the font size. Anything you want to do. You can even centralize your text as well. Let's centralize this particular gender here. So you centralize this here. You can just center contents, or take it to the right or to the left, or take it high, take it in the middle, or take it low. As you can see, you can centralize anyone, align it center, or you can merge multiple multiple cells. You can see this are our columns here, and these are our rows here. So this is row 1, row 2, row 3. So the rows are labeled with numbers and the columns are labeled with alphabets. Okay, this is column A and this is row 1 here. So where the rows and the columns meet is what we call the cell. So this is cell A1 here. The name here is cell A1. Elon is in cell A3 and Max gender is in cell C4. You can see where the column and the row here meets is what we call the cell. Okay, so if I want to merge multiple cells, now this is cell what? Just guess. Yes, cell F4 because it's in the column F and then it's in the row 4. Okay, that is where the both of them meet. If you click on this particular cell here, then you see the name of the cell up here. You can see it's cell F4. That is the name of the cell. So I have another cell here. This is cell what? Can just guess. This H column. Let me give it a format too. This is H column here and this is row 6 here. Okay, so that is what? Cell H6. If you click here, you will see the name here as well. So that is, if you can, I want to combine these multiple cells here now to make it only one cell. Okay, that's why we use the merge and center here. So you click on merge and center to combine multiple cells together. So all these cells are highlighted here, we've merged all together. You can see, so we have them as one cell now instead of having it as multiple before. So these ones are smaller cells and this one's are a bigger cell. Okay, that's how you can merge and center your cell. Okay, if you want to format this, okay, let me just hide their salary here as well, so you can format the salary. So I don't want to give them too many salaries. I think 10k is enough. 12k should be cool for this guy, and then maybe like 20k for Mark because it likes money. And we have the Sam here. Sam does not like money like that. Let's give him 1.2k. Okay, so now I'll format all this salary here as my currencies. They're in dollars. So I'll format all this salary here as dollars. I'll just come to these numbers here. You can see the number is labeled as number. I'll just format it here. Just click here or click on general here and you can choose the currency. You can see it is in pounds, but I want it in dollars. I'll just choose accounting number format here to change the pounds here to dollars. Okay, so I'll just click here and choose dollars here, or if your own is another currency, you can just choose more accounting currencies here. You can see, choose this one and you see more multiple currencies. Oh, there's Bitcoin here. Wow, you can choose multiple currencies that you want. Okay, if I want to give this one, maybe I don't want to have it in the decimal places, I'll just eliminate the decimal places there. So I'll just use this or the other way. So use this to reduce decimal places. You can see now there's no decimal place again. You can just format your data like this very easily. And in case I do any calculations, okay, let me say I want to calculate the entire sum of this revenue. I want to see how much Mark is actually earning, like the percentage of Mark's earning compared to the total amount they are all earning. Okay, like Mark's percentage earning compared to all the earnings they all earn. Okay, so I'll just first of all find the total money they earn, which is going to be sum the entire total here, equal sign sum. Okay, sum the entire total. So this is the sum of the entire money they all earn together. So I want to compare Mark Zuckerberg's earning to the total earning now. Okay, so I'll just come here and then say divide, equal sign. I'll just click on this Mark's earning and divide it by what? By total earning to get the percentage or the ratio of Mark's earning compared to the total earning. That means Mark is earning 46% of total money available for all of them to earn. Okay, now I want to format this one as a percentage. I'll just use this percentage sign here to format this number here as a percentage for max percentage earning compared to other people's earning. So I'll just click on the percentage. You can see it here 40%. Let's see for other ones as well. Let's see for some. Divisible by 0. Okay, let's see for this divisible by 0 value. Okay, there is no value there. That means I will have to make some values there. I will have to make them, stay constant. Okay, so now there's one thing I want to show again. So this is what we call the reference. Here I reference two values here. I reference D4. If you remember, this is cell D4, that is max earning, and D8 is going to be total earning. That means I reference D4 and also reference D8. Okay, that means if I want to make this particular D4 flexible so it can be changing for other people and make D8 fixed, that means D8 is going to be constant because their total earning is actually constant, which is $43,444 dollars. Okay, that will be constant, but others will be changing. Okay, so I'll just make this one fixed, like fixed value. We call it fixed referencing, and this is going to be relative referencing, Abby. Okay, so now we can just make this one fixed here. Just highlight everything and then use your F4 to fix the reference and then press enter. Now let's autofill for Sam's earning. Now let's see what we get. Guys, we have 3% of total earning is coming from Sam. That's very low. Let's fill for other ones up as well. So fill it up. We can see now we have 23% for this and 28% for Elon and 46% for Mark and 3% for Sam. Okay, that is how you use reference now. So you can see how I did it. Now if you click on this initial calculation here, that is D4 over D8. So D8 is fixed, right? So if you click on another one, double click on it here, we see D2 is changing, but D8 is still fixed. That's because with dollar sign in front of the D and the 8, we made it fixed referencing. Okay, that is how to fix your referencing. Now you don't have to be doing the calculations one by one for each order. In case you have like millions of rows of data, just do it for one and then autofill for the rest of them and you get what you want to get. Okay, that is how we use Excel. We have all this conditional formatting here, but we have it here. I'm going to explain it to you in detail here, and we have the Excel table here as well. I will explain it to you in detail here as well, how to use Excel table, and inserts and formats. I will use that as time goes so you can learn how to use it as well. And we have different tabs up here. Okay, so these different tabs here are used for different things. We have inserts here. Inserts, like once you insert any shape or object or pivot table or anything at all, you can easily insert it. And we have draw here. I don't know what this is used for. You can just draw anything random. Then you have page layer. This one helps you to format your page properly. Maybe you want to widen the margin of your page, or you want to narrow it. If you want your orientation to be landscape or portraits, if you want the size to be big or small, if you want to format your print area, if you want the background color for your entire workbook, this is where you get those ones. And we have the formulas here. So these are all the formulas available for you in Excel to use. So we have the auto sum formulas here. You can see them here. We have the recently used formula, the one I used recently. Okay, you can see the most recent formulas I used here, and we have the financial formula as well. I don't know anything about these ones. Okay, and we have logical functions like the and, if, ifs, let, and I will show you some of them here in our conditional functions here. Okay, so I will show you here. And we also have the text functions for data cleaning. So you have all these different text functions here. I will show you some of them here. Okay, you have different for text functions that I will show you how to use. And we have the lookup functions and the date functions as well. The lookup functions are also here. I'm going to show you how to use the lookup functions here. Okay, and we have a lot of them there. And next one is the data tab here. So this is where you get data into your example. You want to work with data sets, you have to like get it from different sources, either from your Excel workbook, from your CSV, or from online, or from database. Can get them from this data tab here into your Excel sheets for analysis. Okay, and we have the view here. How do you want your workbook to look like? That's up to you. and we have the view, like if you want to remove the grid lines and so on, the formula bar will be gone. You can return it back, or the headings should be gone, or return it back. So that's like what the view is used for. Okay, so now let's dive in and show you how to use all these things step by step. So the first thing here are the text functions in Excel. Okay, so these text functions in Excel, we use them for majorly data cleaning. If you want to clean your data to your specific taste, then we use text functions in Excel. So I'm going to make this bold so you can see clearly. Okay, so now we have this data set here. Let me reduce it. We have all these data sets here. So this is like a sales data. Okay, so we have the first and the last name of the customers here. We have their order ID here, their gender, their department, and we have their products, the product they bought, and the region they came from, the order dates, the quantity they ordered, and then the unit price they paid for each of those quantity. And this is the total price. That is the total is going to be the quantity here multiplied by the unit price to get to the total price. And then we have the returned. So this returned here means did they return the product or they did not return the product. So that's what the return here means. So now I want to clean this data here now with my data cleaning functions. I have a lot of them here. I will show you how to use them one by one. This is not all we have about text function. You have more text functions you can use in Excel, okay, but this is just the basic one and the most popular ones you can use in Excel, and the most common ones as well you can use in Excel. So the first one here is the concatenate function. You can see here in our column N here. So the concatenate function is used for data merging. If you want to combine multiple data together and make them one, you can use this function here to combine multiple data and make them one. Okay, for example, if I want to, okay, we have our names here. We have the first name and we have the last name here. If you notice this name here, we have multiple Williams here. We have the Williams here. We have the Williams here. We have the Williams here. Even though these Williams are different people, so you don't even know which one is William, which one is not William. Okay, so now as you are seeing these Williams here, Excel is going to be seeing them as the same Williams unless you just make some changes to each of them. Okay, now if I want to analyze this data now, and I want to say, okay, last name by maybe total price here, so you're going to sum the entire total price of Williams together, assume that they are all the same William, even though they are not the same William. Okay, but if I want to differentiate these Williams here, I will just combine their first name and their last names together and then make with them one. So now this one is going to be Emma William, and this is going to be Sarah Williams, and this is going to be Laura Williams. Now their names are actually different, like there is a differentiation between their names now. Okay, so to do that, to now combine these two names together, now we can use our concatenate function. So I'll just come here in our concatenate column here and then type equal sign, because you want to use any functions in Excel, you start by always typing equal sign first. Okay, so type your equal sign, then type the formula you want to use, which is the concatenate here. Now I can see the concatenate here. I'll just click on it and then use my tab to auto-complete the formula for me. So now you can see, now after typing my function here, you can see the first argument. So all these things inside this here, you can see we have concatenate, then test1, test2. We have more tests as well, like till infinity, I think. Okay, so test1 here means the first test you want to combine, which is our first name here. The test2 here means the second test you want to combine, which is our last name here. So the test1 here is the David. So we are going to start from the first name here. So click on David, then test2 is going to be David's last name, which is Johnson here. Then press enter. It will combine David and Johnson together for you, but now there's no space between David and Johnson. We have to put that space manually. So put the space manually here. So I'm going to just inside the double quotes here and then put a space between double quotes. So this is because a space is like, just like a backspace. So like a space bar is like a space, right? So now that space is going to be seen as a character. Excel is seeing an empty space as a character of its own, just like A is a character, B is a character, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are characters. Also a space is also a character in Excel, Power BI, Python, any language at all. Okay, so that's why we have concatenate a space. So this space now is like test2. So now we have test1 is the B2, this space here is test 2, and this C2 here is test 3. If you press enter, it's going to add that space to between the David and Johnson, as you can see here. So now do it for all other names. You just click on the one you did here and then autofill all the way down. Double click here is not working for me. I'll just click and then drag it all the way down, because double click does not seem to be working because it is not an Excel table. I understand that. So you can see here, so those names are actually corresponding. Chris Anades, that's cool. Let's check here, Emma Davis, and that's cool. So now we've used concatenate to join multiple tests together to form one. So now this is their full name here now. Okay, you can easily copy this now and then replace it with the full name here. And the next function here is the CONCAT function. This CONCAT function actually is like concatenate function as well. They are the same thing entirely. Okay, let's use it, but the names are just different a little bit. So type your CONCAT here. Hence, we have two of the functions here. We have the concat and the concatenate. They are the same thing absolutely. You can see test 1 here is the first name here, then comma, then test 2 here. You can see test 2 here is the last name here. Then press enter. We have joined those two tests together now. So you can see test 1 plus test 2. Now let's put space between this again, like we did earlier. Put the space here, space bar, and then use your comma. So now this is our test 1, this is our test 2, and this here is our test 3. Okay, then press enter. It will join those two names together with a space between them, and you can fill it all the way down, like autofill for other ones as well. Okay, so next one here is test join in Excel. So test join does the same thing as the concat and concatenate as well. So test join also helps you to join multiple tests together. You can say test join tests together, test join. So type a equal sign and type test join here. So this is it. Click on it and use your tab to automatically fill, to auto complete it for you. So the first argument here is delimiter. So delimiter here means what is separating your text that you want to join together. So here I'm joining this first and last name together. So what do I want to separate this text, which is the space I've been shouting since. Okay, so the space is going to separate this particular text here. So the delimiter here is a space. So I'm going to be putting the space in the beginning here. That's our delimiter. Then is your comma. The next argument here is empty. So true. You can see empty. Okay, ignore empty other. Ignore empty. True. Ignore empty cells. False. Include empty cells. I don't want to include empty cells. I want to ignore empty cells. So I'm going to choose true. Okay, then press comma again. So test 1, test 2, test 3. So now, difference between concatenate, concat, and test join is that for concat and concatenate, those ones, even if you want to combine 20 tests together, you have to put the space between each of those tests like 19 times. That is, you want to combine 20 tests together, we put space between those tests 19 times. But for test join here, you only have to put the space once. Even if you are combining 100 tests together, you put the space once in the beginning. That's the difference between them. Okay, so now the test 1 here is going to be the first name, comma, then test 2, as you can see it here, is the last name. Then press enter. So it's going to put the space in the beginning. Even if I want to add an extra deadline, let me add eze to each of these my tests here. Let's start from this concatenate here and add eze to each of them. So I'll just come to the end here, then use your comma, and then add eze inside double quotes. EZE here, then press enter. Now there is no space between the last Eze and Johnson here. Can you see it? There is no space, but I put the same thing here in our test join. Add Eze here, comma, Eze. Then press enter. Now there's a space between Eze and Johnson. That's because this space here, it actually takes care of any test you want to add to your test join. Even if you're adding 100 of tests or if you're adding thousands of tests, this first space here will take care of all the spaces that you need in the test join. Okay, so that is how that works. So now this is Eze. We don't need Eze here. Eze, you are good wherever you are. Enter. So here you can easily autofill this all the way down to get our test joins. Okay, so the next one here is the AND. So the AND here is used to also combine multiple things, just like our TEXTJOIN and CONCAT here, they are the same thing. Okay, so the AND doesn't use a function. Okay, it uses ampersand, this sign here. So to use that, you can just press equal sign, then just reference. You don't have to type any formula or any function rather. Just reference the first name here, then use your AND now. So you don't use comma, just use ampersand, the sign here, then reference the last name here. You can see first name ampersand last name, then press enter. Then to join those two names together for you, as you can see, if you want to put the space as well here, you have to combine the space again using the ampersand. So you put space here and then use ampersand here to combine the space. That is, this is our first test, this is our second test, and this here is our third test. So press enter. Now there's a space between the David and the Johnson. Now let's autofill for the rest of them, as you can see here. Let's undo. There's another way of using this, like what I did here. Okay, if I want to combine different things together, let me say I want to know today's date. The date of this recording is going to be which date. Okay, I'll just use a formula to get that, and that's going to be changing every day. But let me say, okay, 13th of August. Today is 13th of August. Is it 13? You can see here, I did this formula here. That was last week. I did this formula here last week. Now it is actually working with my laptop's dates. Okay, because today is 13th of August. I didn't write this formula today. I wrote this formula last week, and it's going to be updating that date as time goes. Okay, so to write this formula, just come here and then type your equal sign. Okay, then today you have to type it like I want to write my name. Okay, I can really say my name is what? I'll just add this particular David Johnson here to my name. O2. David Johnson is O2. So my name is going to be O2. You can see my name is David Johnson. That means I reference this particular name here. My name is David Johnson. This one. If I change anything in this cell here, let me say my name is Ezekiel. Can you see my name is this one will be changing? That is the power of referencing. Okay, if you change any value, where you reference this value to will be changed. Okay, so let's take this back to David Johnson. Now if I want to say today's date, that means even if it comes tomorrow, it will still show you tomorrow's date. The time of watching this video again, it will show you that particular date as well. So let's write the formula now. So come down here, then type equal sign, then inside double quotes here, so just type today, or yesterday was let's try yesterday. Let's see if I'm going to get yesterday. So yesterday was so I'm going to be using a concatenate now with a test function. So concatenate this one to this. So the value here, I will explain how to use text functions when we get to this place. Okay, so the value here is going to be today. Okay, today function, we have a today function as well. So today minus 1. Today minus 1 is going to be yesterday, right? So today minus 1, then comma. How do I want to format this? So I'm going to format this one as day, comma, month, comma, year. Then press enter here. Yes, automatically fill it for me. So you can see here, yesterday's date was 12th of August. So today's date is 13th of August, and yesterday was 12th of August. So this is how you can use the ampersand for even multiple concatenations or for multiple reports automation, anything you want to do with it. Okay, that is how to use the test concatenation in Excel. Okay, let me show you one more thing. Okay, so in case you want to split your own test to different columns, right? That means, because here I showed you how to concatenate your test to the same column. Now we want to show you how to split your test to different columns. So you use the test split, but I don't have test split here, so I have an alternative to test split here, and that is going to be what? That's going to be the test to columns in Excel. So let me copy this entire first name here and use your Control C here and then paste it here. Now I want to split this, I want to paste this as values. Paste as values. Now I want to split this particular text here to multiple columns, that is to two different columns. Now I want to insert an extra column here. So if I want to split this to, because we have two names here, that is the first name will be here and the last name will be here. So I want to split these two names to different colors. I have to like create a space for the last name. So the last name will be here and the first name will be here. So I just highlight the entire thing here. You can highlight the entire thing, then go to your data tab here and then go to the text to columns here, and then you see delimited. Yes, delimited means I have something that is separating my text, which is in this occasion is the space. Okay, for the fixed width means how many spaces do we have between each of these tests, okay, or how many tests do you want to get from this particular test, how do you want to split them, okay, maybe by two tests to other tests or anything like that, but I want delimited here, so click on next. Okay, so what is separating my test? So I have space separating my test. I'll choose space if I see it here, and if your own is not here, maybe your own is / just type others here. My own is going to be space, so I'm going to be this, so choose space here and then click next. Yeah, we're good, and then click finish. Yes, if you can see it here, so we're going to split this text to different columns, as you can see. So you can use text split if you have text split. Okay, you can search for how to use text splits, and you're going to use text split to do the same thing I did here. Okay, that's how you use the concatenate, concat, text join, and then the ampersand sign in Excel. So let me hide all these text here so we can have space to explain other ones. So the next one here is the left function. The left one is used to get specific number of characters from your text. Okay, so now I have my department here. Now that means I want to get just two characters from each of these departments here, right? Yeah, let me get two characters from the first department here. From this marketing, I'll be getting MA. For operations, I'll be getting OP. For marketing, I'll be getting MA. For HR, I'll be getting HR still. For finance, I'll be getting FI. So I'll be getting the first two characters from each of these departments here. That's what the left does for you. So come here, type left function. Then the first argument here is the test. The test is the test you want to get those characters from, which is in the marketing in this particular one. So comma, then num_char is how many characters you want to get from this particular marketing from the beginning of the marketing. Now it is 2 MA. Now I have MA, so let's do it for other ones as well. You can see, so it gets you just two characters from all this your text here. That is how left works. So the right is like opposite of left. That one gets you the last characters, but left gets you the first characters, but the right here gets you the last characters. Okay, I want to get the last two characters from each of these departments here. I'll just come here, type equal sign, then type the right function. Then the first argument is text, it's just like normal. Same thing with left, then comma 2. But here it's going to start from the end of the text and gets me, for this market, it's going to get me NG. For operations will be NS, and for marketing will be NG. For HR will be still HR. For finance will be CE. For marketing will still be NG. For sales will be ES. For customer support will be RT, like retweets. Then press enter. You can see here. So let's automatically fill all the way down. So you can see you get to the last characters from your text, and the mid here gets to the middle characters from your text. Okay, so let's explain how that one works as well. Let me expand this a little bit. So type a equal sign and type mid here. You can see the arguments here. The first one here is test, which is this text here, then comma. Then we want to get the middle characters from our text. Okay, the middle character here can be anything between this A here and N here. Okay, those are the middle characters. Okay, so I want to get like, okay, let me say I want to get so I want to get I want to start from the second character here. Let's have the third and get the next 3 characters. So start from the third and get next 3. Okay, so starting number here means where do you want to start getting those numbers from? I said 3 here. 3 means start from R here and get me next 3. Next 3 is going to be RKE. Okay, that is next. So this will return RKE, and this here will return ERA, and this will return RKE as well. So let's press enter. You can see RKE. The next one should return error. You can see, but this ones are showing empty because we don't have up to 3 characters from here. We said start from the 3rd character, but these ones are only two characters. So that is why we are saying empty here, empty here, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's how mid works as well. So let's hide this again. I like the entire thing, then right click and then hide here, so you can have space for other things. Okay, so next one is going to be the substitute formula here. So use substitute formula here to we use substitute here to substitute something inside our test. Okay, for example, now I want to change all this HR here. Anywhere I see HR here, I will change the HR to human resources. Okay, that's like I want to substitute human resources for HR. Okay, so I'll just come here, type equal sign, then type substitute function itself. Then the test here means the test I want to change the value. So I have to start from the beginning. So then autofill for wherever there is HR, change the HR to human resources. Okay, so I will start from the beginning, even though this is not HR, I understand. So it's always good to start from the beginning and automatically fill all the way down. Okay, so this is the test here, and use your comma. So the old test is the HR here in capital letter and also in double quotes. So type HR here. And the new test, you can see here, the new test here is going to be the human resources. Inside double quotes, I forgot that one. Because this is a test, this is a number, you don't need to put numbers inside double quotes. Okay, but because it's a test, I'll put the test inside double quotes. Human resources. Then press enter. You can see marketing is still intact the way it is. Okay, now let's automatically fill all the way down. So anywhere it sees HR, to change all those HRs to human resources, as you can see them here. Human resources, human resources, human resources, you can see them here. So it's change all the HRs there to human resources. Okay, that's how the substitute works. So the next one here is a test function. So a test function is used to change our value to a test format. Okay, like we use text function for different things, but one of them is to convert dates to just normal dates, or to get some few things from our date. Okay, for example, if I want to get the month and the year from this my date, I think I use the test here in one of our examples. Okay, now our Ampersand example, I use one example there. Another example here is going to be the how to use text to get our month and year here. For example, I want to get the month now, but if I want to get the month here, the month, let me see how many years we have. Okay, we have different years here. Okay, so if I want to get the month now, you know, in each of the years we have equal months, which is 12 months. We have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October to December for all the years. Okay, so now if I want to get only the months, I might not know which year the month is coming from. For example, now we have 2023 April is here, so we might have another 2024 April. Let me see, do we have June, April 2023? So we might have like April 2024 or April 2022 as well. I want to know where those years are coming, or where those months are, which year those months are coming from. Okay, so this is always combine your years with your month. Okay, so I'm going to be combining the year and the month alone, and I will ignore everything in this other date here. So let's try it and see if we can get to press or equal sign and type test here. Now the value is going to be this here, then use your comma. Now the format I want the value to be is going to be the DDD. The format is going to be MM-YYY, or YY is okay. Okay, so MM-YY. That means this is April 23, that means April 2023 autofill, you will see the same thing for all of them. That means the month comes first and then the year comes last. Okay, if I want to get the year in full, I will just type the Y 4 times to get the year in, that is 2023 in full. I will type the, or let me try 3 times, yes, or 3 times to get to the year in full. Okay, you can see here we have the years in full now. That's how we use text functions in Excel. So the next one here is length function. So the length function helps you to get how many characters we have in our text. Like for example here now, we have all these markets in our, so all these now, so we have the marketing here, operations, marketing, human resources. So we want to see how many characters or how many alphabets are in this text here. So marketing should be M1, A2, R3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this one will return 9 for us when we want to check the length of this particular text here. So press your equal sign, then type length function here. Then this one only accepts one argument, which is the text itself. Then choose the text and press enter. You can see we have 9 different texts, like 9 different alphabets inside marketing. Automatically fill all the way. Then you can see it here. Okay, so that is how to use the length function. Let's hide this and then make space for other ones. So the next argument, the next function here is the upper function. So the upper function is used to change all our text from any case that it was before to a uppercase. Okay, so now let's say we want to change all our products here to a uppercase. All our products should be in uppercase because it's good to always have, why do we use all this? So you good to always have your text in a uniform format, because it's not good to just have printer here, for example, in small letter P, or everything in lowercase and other things are in uppercase, or just have this one as uppercase, or kind of let's have this one as laptop. So this here, you can see we have different formats here. You have the uppercase, lowercase, and sentence case. Just not just looking good. Okay, so you always have your data in a uniform format. Okay, but this one's actually in a uniform format. But in case your own is not in a uniform format, you can choose to have your data in the uppercase all true, lowercase all true, or proper case, that is same thing as sentence case all true. Okay, so let's change all our products here to lower, upper, and proper case. So uppercase first, just type the upper function, UPPER function, then to accept only one text, then put the products there, then press enter. Everything will change to uppercase for you, same as lowercase. Come here, press equal sign, then lower case. This one means all the products here will be changed to a lowercase. Okay, then press enter and then automatically fill for the rest of them. So everything will be changed to a lowercase. Proper case here is same thing as sentence case. If you use Microsoft Word, we notice that we used to use sentence case in MS Word. Okay, so the proper here means like a sentence case where we can easily change the first letter of your text to uppercase and the rest will be lowercase. Okay, so that's how the proper works. So type proper here, then it accepts only one argument as well. So choose the one argument and press enter. You can see everything will be changed to proper case. Okay, and that is how we use proper, lower, and upper case in Excel. And the next arguments here, the next function here is the unique function. So the unique function is used to find the unique values in a range or in a list or in a column. Okay, we use the unique function here to find the unique values in columns. Okay, I will show you how to find it using Excel table too. Okay, but we'll get there. So now we want to find the unique return here. So how many different values we have here? I think we have yes and no, 2 different values here. So let's check that. Okay, press equal sign and type unique here. So unique, not unique, unique. This. Okay, so unique here, the array means like the list of the values you want to find the unique values in. So here is going to be this entire array here, the array of our returned here, highlight the entire thing from the beginning to the end. I used shortcut actually. Okay, you want to use the shortcut, just go to the beginning, click on the first one here, and then hold your shift, control, and arrow down to highlight the entire text all the way from L to last one. Okay, that is the L column, like this, and press enter. The unique values here are only 2. Now let's find the unique products that we are selling. Let's find the unique product as well. So type equal sign again, unique here. Then the array is going to be the products column here, entire column with your shortcut, control shift arrow down. Then you can see the unique laptop is going to be 7 different products we are selling. Okay, that is how you use the unique to find the unique values in a particular list, or in a particular range, or in a particular array, or in a particular column. Okay, so next one is going to be the trim function. You might not see how this works, okay, but this is one of the most important thing as far as data cleaning is concerned, okay, because if you make a single mistake, Excel is not that smart for you to detect that, okay, this is actually the same thing for you. Okay, for example, now notice that when I change something here now, okay, this is not case sensitive. Now let me, we found the unique items here, and if I'm doing any analysis with this particular unique here, it's going to show me case we have the unique values here, right? So you have the printer, headphone, keyboard, laptop, monitor, phone, and tablet, right? Now we have multiple different printers here. You have the printer 1, printer 2, 3, we have more, I'm very sure, 4, we have different printers. So if I want to carry their total sales I made selling printer, it's just sum up this printer sales here to the printer sales up here. It sum the entire printer sales for me and add them to the front of this printer here. That's my sum of total printer sales. But if I make small slight mistake here, Excel is not that smart to see it. Just see. If I come to this printer here and go to the end of my printer and then put space there and then press enter, notice what happened here. It added an extra product to my products. Now we have 2 different printers. That means we have printer 1 and printer 2 here. Now in this particular printer here is one I just changed here, just a slight change. I cannot even see with your eyes. You can see here, okay, this is the same printer we had, right? And this is still the same printer, but what now changed? What changed is I added an extra space to the end of this printer here. Sometimes maybe in the beginning of your test, maybe come here, put the space in the beginning of the test here, then press enter. Now we have 2 keyboards. We have 1, we have 2. Sometimes might be in the middle of 2 different tests, so those tests are not going to be seen at the same test. Now this printer here is different from this printer here. Excel is not that smart enough to know that, okay, these are still the same spelling. No, not yet. Maybe we will still get there. Okay, but Excel is not smart enough to know, this is the same printer here and we still have the same printer here, but because there's a space at the end of one of them, it will see them as separate things. Okay, so if you want to remove that space, because it might not know sometimes that these things have space, in fact most of the time you might not even know, you just say, why am I getting this wrong analysis here? It's good to always apply trim to your old test. Okay, like you just use the trim function here to trim your entire test. Okay, now let me show you. You might not even notice how this trim actually affects your data at all, but let me just show you how to use the trim. So type your equal sign and type the trim function, TRIM. Then we are dealing with the products, right? So select the products here, trim F2, enter. It has trimmed that F2 now. So let's autofill to trim the rest of the products as well. Trimming means you are removing unwanted space from your data. Okay, so now let's now find the unique here now. So we come here, then type the unique function again. The unique function again. Now the array is going to be the entire trimmed one here, and then press enter. Notice that now we have how many products here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 different products, but here after we trimmed it, we have 7 different products. That's what trim does for you. You might not even know the impact of trim until you start analyzing your data. You start getting errors with your data. That's how you know the impact of this trim in your data cleaning. Okay, so the next one here is the clean. So the clean here helps you to remove, just like the trim here, it helps you to remove any non-printable data or any non-printable characters from your test. Okay, so let's see how clean works. it accepts only one argument as well. Let's clean the product again. Okay, so now let's find the same thing we found earlier. So this you will not see how this actually works as well, but once you start printing your documents, you notice that, oh, there are some things that cannot be printed here. So this is going to remove all those things for you. Okay, so next one is the exact function. Okay, now let's compare this trimmed and this one to see if they're actually the same thing. Exact basically helps you to compare two values to see if they are the same values. Okay, like my name is Ezekiel. If I want to compare my name to my surname, which is Aleke, if I want to compare Ezekiel to Aleke now, they are the same thing, right? So this exact will compare my name and my surname to know if they are the same thing. If they are the same thing, so we return true. If they are not the same thing, we return false. Okay, so now let's compare this trim valued and the cleaned value here. Type equal sign and type exact here. So test 1 is the trim value, then comma test 2 will be the print value. Notice that we have the same thing in each of the columns here. Okay, press enter. It is false. Why? We have the same thing, right? But one of them has space, that one does not have a space. This one has space at the end of it. This does not have a space at the end of it. That's why it's showing false for you. Let's autofill and see for other ones as well. You can see we have true, and false here. Why? Because this keyboard here has space in the beginning, but this one does not have space in the beginning. That means it's seeing them as separate things, okay? But every other thing should be true. Yeah. That's how to use exact. Can use exact to compare two different values, see if they are equal or not. Okay, the next one here is a transpose function. Let's hide all this so you can get space for our transpose function. Okay, so now transpose function is used to transpose data from one format to another format. So transpose means, you can see I show that we have rows here and we have columns here. The columns are the alphabet and the rows here are the numbers. Okay, so if I want to change these rows here to columns and columns to row, that is what transpose does. Okay, changing rows to columns and columns to row. Okay, that this is the name of this table here is a vertical table. If I want to change a vertical table to a horizontal table, that is a, like this table is standing upright. If I want to change like a slant table, then that's what transpose does. So I want to use this now. I'll just go down here and then type my transpose function here, type equal sign transpose, and then select the entire table, and to change the table from the format it is now to horizontal format for you automatically. You can see this is the table now. This is, you can see our column headers here. We have the order ID, first name, last name, gender, department, products, region, order date, quantity, units, price, total price, and return here. So these are our column headers, right? Now let's go to our transposed data. You can see those column headers are now as a row. They are in a row now. Okay, you can see the order ID, they are now in a order format, and we have there. So all the order ID are here, all the first names are here, all the last names are here, and all the genders are here. That is how transpose works. Changes data from one format to another and the other ones are another. So if I want to change this data back to how it was before, I just see the same transpose, change it back to a vertical table. So just type the same transpose function here and then align the entire table. You use your same shortcut, that is Ctrl Shift R to the right and then R all the way down to select the entire table and press enter. Now we have returned the table to how it was before. Can you see it now? That is how transpose works for you. Okay, and that is how to use text functions in Excel to clean your data to your specific taste. Okay, because data cleaning to you is not something like data cleaning to another person. We have different tastes when it comes to data cleaning. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be talking about now is the aggregate functions that we have here. Okay, we have aggregate functions here. I would like to remove some data here. Let me remove some data here so we can have space to work with aggregate functions. Let me delete this. Okay, so now the first aggregate function here, in case you can't see it, let me zoom it in. So the first function here is a sum. Of course, you know what sum is. Okay, you're also used to it, right? So the first function is a sum, right? So sum is used to sum up a particular value in a list or in a range or anything at all. Let me say I want to sum my first 5 numbers now. I'll just use the sum function, SUM, the sum function. Now the number 1 is 1. Like first 5 numbers, right? I want to sum them up together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What should that give us? 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15. You can see we have 15 here. So now I want to see my total price, same thing as total revenue. Let me change this to total revenue. So total price here has been changed. I want to see my total revenue now. So I'll just come here, press the equal sign again, then type my sum function again, because I want to see all my revenue in one line. Like this, how much did I actually make in total selling this year or over the years. Okay, I'll just highlight the entire revenue here. Okay, I can just highlight all the way down, but that might be in case you have like millions of rows, it might take you time to highlight all the way down. So just use your shortcut Control Shift arrow down to select the entire revenue column, then press enter to sum the entire revenue for it. Now I have this amount. Wow, $800K I made over 2 years, right? That is how we use the sum. Sum means sum the entire revenue without leaving one out of it. Sum means sum the entire revenue from A to Z. We have how many different customers here? We have 200 different customers here. Okay, so sum their entire revenue irrespective of if they are male or female, or they are in marketing department, or it was a printer product, or anything at all. Sum the entire revenue for me without condition. All of them will be summed up for you, and this is our entire revenue here. Okay, and the next one here is the sum if. Okay, sum if comes with a condition. Okay, because sum if something is there. Okay, like for example, sum all this revenue here if the person is female, or sum all this revenue here if the person is male. Okay, so let's check for female revenue and also for male revenue, or let's check for marketing revenue as well. So you can see different ways to use the sum if. So sum if this revenue is from, excuse me, so sum the entire thing if the revenue is from the female gender. This one means sum the entire thing if the revenue is from the male gender. Can you see that? And this one is sum the entire revenue if it is from the marketing department. Okay, let's find this one first. So press your equal sign, then you have the sum if here. So this is the formula here. So the first argument here is the range, and the range here means the range of your condition. And the range of your condition means where your condition is. So for this example here, the condition here is female. So where do we have the female? We have the female in our gender column here. So the range here means the range of your entire gender. So you have to select the entire gender. That is the range. Okay, so click on the first gender here. So this is gender here, the first gender here, and then highlight the entire gender all the way down. That is your range. Range means multiple items. Okay, so the entire range here, then go back up after you highlight the entire range, which is from the entire gender column. Then use your comma now. So the criteria here is what? The criteria here is female. So we have two different, in fact we have more than 2 different genders here. We have others too, others male and female. So we are only interested in the female, so I can just type the female here. That is our criteria or condition. I can type the female here, FE, by hate typing. Actually, I really hate typing. You can start making mistake when I'm typing. I can type female here, or just reference your female. Any of these female here, just reference them here. If the person is female, and then the sum range is the range of the values you want to sum together, which is our revenue here. So sum this revenue here if this gender here is female. So it will only sum the entire gender, the entire female revenue. It will leave the male and others out of it and sum only the female revenue. So press enter, and you have only female revenue now, as you can see it here. Now let's find only male revenue. In case you don't want to be typing male and female and something like that, just come here and then change this value here to male and press enter. Now you have the male revenue. Oh, I referenced this place, that was why. So come back here, instead of you referencing this female here, just reference it up here. Reference this here, press enter. You can see this is the male because the male is what is here, so change this back to female. You can see it will change. Even if you change this one to others, the values will change to others. Oh, what? Okay, other, not others. I'm just to others. You can see we have to, wow, they even have more sales than the male. Others have more sales. Maybe they are lesbians or gay, or they don't have more. Let me check female again. Yeah, they have more than female, right? Let's find for male so you can see, or let's find for marketing now so you can see how to use it again. So type your equal sign here, then type your sum if. So the range here means the range of where your criteria is, and the criteria here is marketing. So the range of where marketing is in the departments. All the departments column will be selected for the range. The range means multiple items, okay? So select the entire marketing, the entire department like this. Then use your comma. So you can just continue it from here. So the criteria here is marketing. You can choose marketing from here and then use your comma. You can say I'm doing it here. Okay, then you can see the arguments here. Then the sum range here means the entire range I want to sum together, which is this particular revenue range here. So use your shift, control, and arrow up to go up. Then I want to exclude the first one, or it will still work, but let's exclude it. Then this is my marketing sales. All the sales I made in marketing department, or is this sales or okay, the department of the person that is buying the product, that is the person from marketing department. Okay, that is how to use the sum if. And the next one here is the sum ifs. So the sum ifs here comes with multiple conditions because there is s at the end of it. The sum ifs here comes with multiple conditions because there's s at the end of that, okay? Because sum ifs, that is multiple conditions, okay? So now that means you will have more than one condition, like, okay, the person must be female, as we said earlier, and also from, okay, I want to see the total sales we made from all the female that are from the HR department, okay? All the female from HR department. So here I will see for all the male that are from finance sales and also lives in the east. Because we have multiple conditions now. So let's find all the total revenue we made from female that are from the HR department. Okay, so use your sum ifs now. Okay, so you can see here the first argument in the sum ifs is the sum range. That is the range I want to sum together, which is this particular revenue range. Then use your comma. Let's go back up so it won't be confusing you. Okay, so the next argument here is the criteria range 1 because I have multiple criteria here. The female and the HR are the criteria. So the range of the first criteria here is the criteria range 1. That our first criteria here is the female. So the range of female is where is in the gender. So the entire gender range, okay? Select the entire gender range here and then use your comma again. So now the criteria for that particular range is female. So you can see the criteria here. So just reference the female here or type female if that's okay for you. I would just like to reference the female here. Then use your comma. Now the next argument here is the criteria range 2, the range of the second criteria. So the second criteria here is the HR. So what is the range of HR? That should be the department, right? Yes. So the entire department range will be highlighted for us here. Then use your comma again. So the criteria 2 itself now is the HR. So select the HR here anywhere you see it. Okay, then use your comma again. In case you have 3 criteria or 4 criteria, as you can see here, you can just include them. But I have only 2 criteria here. I'll press enter. So this is how much we made selling to people that are female and also from the HR, as you can see. Now let's see all the people that are male that are in sales department that are also from the east. Okay, let's do that here. So come here, equal sign sum ifs here. So the sum range is the first argument in our SUMIFS function. So the sum range is the range I want to find the sum together, which is the revenue range now. So the entire range of revenue is selected for you. then go all the way up again, then use your comma. So the next argument here, criteria range 1. Our first criteria here is male because we have 3 different criteria here. Our first criteria is the male, so the range of where we have the male is in the gender again. Okay, so select the entire gender range now all the way up, then use your comma. So the next argument here is the criteria 1. That is the first criteria here is the male, so select the male from that range, then use your comma again. So the criteria range 2 is the range of our second criteria, which is the sales, and sales is in department range, so the entire department column now, then use your comma, then let's go up so you can not miss something. So the criteria 2 now is the sales, so choose sales anywhere you see it here, or you can type your own if it is okay for you, then comma none, because we have 3 different criterias or criterion, whatever they call it. So we have the east now, so the range of the east, which is the criteria range 3, the range of east is in the region, I think, yeah, the region. So all the regions here, then let's go all the way up, then use your comma again. So the region is the east, right? So choose east anywhere you see east here, press enter. So these are all the sales we made from the male customers that are in sales and also from the east. Okay, so it's only choose for those guys that are male and also from the east. Okay, and that is how to use the SUMIF and SUMIFS. Okay, I believe that is okay for you. You can go and watch it again if you miss anything. Okay, so here is the second one here. So we have the average as well. So the average works like the sum but different outputs. In fact, their formula is almost the same thing but different outputs. Okay, because this average only averages value. Like, okay, we have how many customers here? We have 200 different customers here. If I want to find the average sales now, that means I want to return the same sales for each of these customers. Okay, let's find average. I will now come back and explain what average means. Okay, equal sign, average is here. So let's find the average sales now, like average revenue, and see what we get. Press enter. So our average revenue is $4,100 here, as you can see here, $4,100. Okay, so you can see it here. That is our average revenue, and our sum of revenue is 800k here. Okay, so what does this 4,100 mean? So this particular value you are seeing here means it is for each of these our customers. Even if your sales, if your revenue is 10,000 or your own is 600, so you both have the same revenue now. That's what the average means. So it is allocating this particular 4,100 to all our customers. That means all of them have this 4,100 here. Even if you have higher sales or you have lower sales, you all have the same 4,100. That's what average means. So average means is you are trying to get the same value for all your customers. That's why we use the sum of the entire value divided by the count of the entire customers. Okay, that's how you get the average, and that's how the average works. Okay, so the next one here is like, okay, let's get the average sales for these ones, like we got it here. Okay, so the same average sales like the sum here. So the average, or the average revenue from the female clients now. So type a equal sign, AVERAGEIF, AVERAGEIF here. So the first argument is the range, just like the SUMIF rather. So the range is going to be the range of your condition. Our condition is the female here, so the condition is in the gender, so the entire gender column will be highlighted, and use your comma, but let's go up so you don't feel confused, then comma. So the criteria here is the female here, then comma. Now the average range is the range of the values you want to average, which is the revenue range here. You can see just like the sum if they are the same thing, just like different outputs. You can see we have different outputs for this now. So we have average sales. Okay, let's get for male now. Let's see average sales for male. That should be around 40, no, not 40 again. This should be, let me guess before I say it so you can see that I know what I'm talking about. Let me get the average sales for the female. Oh, we have 3 different people here. I might not be able to guess it perfectly until I get the other 2. But let me just get, that should be less than 4,000. Yeah, it's like 38 or 39. Wait, 3839 ish. Yes, wait, and 3637 actually. Let's get for the female, for the male. Okay, so let's change this one to male now. And 42. That means the orders will be very low, I think. What if it is not low? order. I said it to very low because for these two to be very high, that means orders to be very low as well. Okay, you can see it here. Orders is very low because we have a very high male average and then very high female average compared to the entire average. You can see this is the total average sales here. So now comparing this is higher than this. That means orders will be lower. Okay, so now let me get for, so I can explain this to you perfectly. Okay, let's get for male as well. So average sales for male now. So type your average sales. I can explain this to you perfectly. So it won't be confusing because this video is not to confuse you at all. It's just to make everything as plain as possible for you. Okay, so let me explain this properly to you. So the range, I'm trying to get the average sales for the male clients now. So the range is here is the range of the male gender, which is the entire gender here. There is a comma, then criteria, I'm sure you know that one is male, then comma, then average range is the range of our revenue here. Let's do the first one, which is the revenue column header. Press enter. You can see this is our average sales for male. Let's get for orders now. Okay, so come here, equal sign, then average if here. Then range is going to be the range of our criteria, which is the gender now. Then comma, then criteria is order. Then comma, then the average range is going to be the entire revenue range here. Then press enter. So now so since our total average is this, entire average is 4100, and the female average is 4500, the male average is 4200, and then we're having this, that means if you find the average of these two values, it should give you this. Sorry, average of these three values, they should give you this. So I was equating the average to this, like I was comparing the average to this particular total average here. Now let's find the average of these three values. That should give us exactly this. Okay, so the average of this is going to be equal sign then average now, not average if, just the average. Then select the three values and press enter. You can see that we have the same average for the house. Once I got one, because okay, I know that total should give us this. Okay, so once I got 45 and it's actually higher than this, then that means the other one should be lower than this, right? Because to get 4100, so that other one must be lower than this. So since we have two different values, then they are both high. Wow, that's very high. That means the next one should be very, very low for we to get the average of this one for everything. I hope you understand that. Okay, so the next one here is the average ifs. So the average ifs is like the sum ifs, the same thing, just like different outputs. Okay, so I'm going to be hiding this, hide and seek. Okay, so let's find the average ifs of the same thing that we did here. Okay, so now if the average of the female salespeople, so the female HR, press equal sign and the average ifs here. So the average range is the range of the value I want to average. Okay, then comma, then criteria range 1 is the range of the first criteria and the female is in the range of what, the gender range here. Okay, then comma, now the criteria here is the female, so I'll choose female anywhere I see it. Then comma, we have two different conditions, right? And that is HR here. Okay, so the next one is going to be the criteria range to the range of our HR. HR is in where? Is in the department. So select the entire department range here, then comma, anywhere you see HR, just select HR there, then press enter. Now this is our average, the average sales, average revenue from the female from HR department. As you can see it here, that's how we use the average ifs, just like the sum is. Okay, you can try this one on your own, find the average of the sales for this one on your own. Okay, so I'm waiting for you. Okay, so let me hide this and go to the count now. Hide, so you can have space for count. Okay, so count is used, of course, just as the name implies, count, like count these values for me. How many values are here? So count them for me. Okay, so I want to count like first 5 numbers. Of course, you know what the output will be. So count 1, 2. first 5 numbers should give you what? That should be 5, right? Okay, so that's what count does for it. Count the values in a particular range for you. So I want to count total customers I have here now. So let me count total customers I have based on tests. So based on numbers and also based on tests. So you see the difference between tests and numbers in counts. Okay, so I'll count my total customers now using the count function here. So count all this revenue here. We have 200 customers, right? So let's count tests, which is this return here. Use the count this all the way to the end, enter. This should return 0 for you because count does not count other characters, it only counts numbers. Count only counts numbers, it cannot count tests, okay? But count A counts both tests, numbers, and special characters. It counts everything possible, count anything countable. Okay, so count A is like the upgraded version of count. Okay, it can help you to count tests, numbers, and any characters at all. Okay, so let's go and use the count A. COUNTA or count A. Count A means count all. Okay, so let's count numbers first again. That should be the same 200. Let's count A test now, which is this return here, and that is the same 200 because if you count all this all the way down, they have the same count, right? Because they all have the equal number of rows, which is 200. That's why you can count any of these columns here and get your total customers. Okay, and the next one here is the count if. So the count if, just like other if we will explain it, count if comes with a condition as well. So let's count. I will have to go and enable that again. Okay, so the count if here counts based on a condition. Let's see how many female we have, like how many female customers we have, and also how many male customers we have. Okay, so use count if here, press or equal sign, then count if is down here, select, and then use tab to automatically complete. So the range and the criteria, this one's actually simpler. The range and the criteria, and that's all. The range here is going to be the entire gender range, and then criteria will be female. Okay, so just let the entire gender range here, and then let's go back up so you don't feel confused. That is our range, then comma, the criteria here is now female. You can choose any female here or any female here, or type your own female. Let me choose it from here, then press enter. So we have 61 different females. Wow, let's check how many males we have. So equal sign, count ifs. The range here is the same gender range here, then comma, the criteria here is now male, right? Then enter. So we have 69 males and 61 females. So how many other do you think we have? Yeah, you don't know it. That should be 70. How do I know that? I'm very smart, right? Okay, so we have 61 female and we have the 69 males, and we have a total of 200. Okay, so 61 plus 69 is 130. So 130 minus 200, that is minus 70. I said 130 minus 200. That's 130 first minus 200, that is minus 70. So we have 70 others. So let's find that one out as well. Count if. So the range is going to be the same gender range here, then comma, others here, then press enter. You have 70, as I said. Okay, that's how you use count if to know how many of your customers meet specific conditions. Here, this one is other customers, this one is male customers, and this here is the female customers. You can see here now, this is why we have less average for others. As you can see it here, others are showing 35. That's because they have more customers. Okay, so we have more customers. That's why the average is low, because the more the count, the less the average. Because the formula is, let me show you the formula. So sum divided by count. You can see that the count is below. So the more values you have below, this is average. So you know what I'm talking about. AVG equals, so AVG equals sum over count. So the more value you have below, like we call it, what's that value again? Division. We have the upper one and lower one. I can't think of shits. Okay, so the sum divided by the count. Okay, denominator and numerator. My bad. So the higher the denominator, the lower the value you're going to be getting. That's why you have lower average here. Okay, so the next one is the count ifs. Okay, the count ifs comes with multiple conditions. Okay, so now we have multiple conditions for these two here. Let's see how many of our customers are female and also in HR department. So we come here and then type the counts ifs. Okay, the criteria range one because we have two different criteria for this female and HR. So the range of our first criteria here is the gender because female is the gender criteria, right? So the gender is going to be the first range here, then go back all the way up the side and then comma. So the next argument here is the criteria one, and there is the female because we want to see the female HRs. Okay, so the criteria one should be the female, then go back there to your formula, then use your comma. So now the criteria range 2 is going to be the second range of the criteria, which is HR here, and that should be in the marketing department range rather, then comma. Now we choose HR here, then press enter. You can see how simple it is. So we have only 8 female HRs and they are making 48k. If you divide this by 8, what do we get? Let's see if you are going to get the same value. Let's try this. So divide this value here by 8 over 8, right? This, that's 6. You can see we have the same value. You can see that's how accurate it can actually be. So to get our average sale, you can see this is our count. The count of female HRs is this 8, and the sum of our revenue for female HR is this. That means the average of each of these HR is going to be the sum over count, like I did here, to get the average, and this is the average here. I hope you still remember your mathematics. That's why we said you have to know mathematics, at least basic maths, to know data analysis, and also learn studies to know data analysis as well. Okay, this is where those maths are coming in play. Okay, so the next one here is going to, let's find how many of our customers are male, also from the sales department and also from the eastern region. Okay, let's find that one out here. It is here. So we use the counts ifs and the criteria range 1 because we have 3 different criteria here: the male, sales, and the east. Don't forget it's male, sales, and east. Okay, now let's go here. So the male is in this particular range, so select the entire range here, then use your comma, then criteria 1 is going to be male, then comma. So criteria 2 is sales, which is in the department, and here is our department here. Select the entire department for the range, then comma, then criteria 2 is going to be sales, right? Then comma. So the last one is going to be eastern region, right? So this can see the eastern region. So the criteria should be in the region here, then comma, then east. Anyway, you see the east, select it, then press enter. So we have 4 people from the eastern region and give us this particular sales or revenue here. That's how you can use the COUNTIF counts and so many of them like that. Okay, so let's hide all this so we can explain others. So we have count blanks here. So the count blank basically counts the number of blank cells in your column. Okay, so let's count blank now. So let's use that example. Count blank. Count blank is here. Okay, so now I want to count all this place now from here to this place. So how many do we have here? How many blanks do we have in this particular range here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 blanks. Oh, they said it's 10. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10 blanks. Oh, it assumes tests are also blank, I guess. It assumes tests to be blank. Okay, now let's do the count blank for a particular test. Count blank for this or this test here. So all of them should be blank. 0 blank. So why am I getting 10? Oh, there was, my bad, because there were some hidden hidden columns here, so we're going to count the blank from those hidden columns as well. So that's how we got to these 10 blanks here. So let's count all these blanks because there's no hidden column here at all. Okay, so let's count the blank here. So equal sign, I was wondering why it was counting 10 for instead of us having just those blanks here. So now we can just align this to here. Let's align these 3 different columns here. Sorry, 2 different columns and 3 different rows. So you have how many here? 6 here, and blank is 3. So let's see how many we have. Yeah, that should be correct. That's how count blank. Count blanks only count the blank cells for you. Okay. Now let's hide this. Well, let's just leave it. So max here is like maximum, like we want to find the maximum value in a particular range. Okay, let's find our maximum revenue. So press equal sign, then sorry, we have to type the max function. Okay, then the entire value here to find the maximum value. So we have 14k. One customer actually made 14k for us, and that's very high, bro. Okay, let's find the minimum value as well. Let's see who made the minimum value for us. The entire revenue to find the minimum revenue. Wow, 63. That's very low. $63 per person. Okay, that is how to find the minimum and the max. Okay, we also have products here. So let's type products here. So this helps you to, like, you know, it's just multiply each of the values in the product. You have 2,2. Now it's just multiply 2 by 2, that's 4. If I have more, that's going to be 2. So you just multiply each of these values for me, and that's 96. Is that true? 2 times 2 is what? Is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. And 24 times 4 is 4 times 4 is 16. That's 96. Yeah. So that is how products is to multiply each of the values in that particular range we provide for it. Okay, the min and max ifs come with like what I've been explaining earlier. They come with conditions just like these ones. Okay, so you're going to figure that out by yourself. Okay, just figure it out how to use max ifs and min ifs. Okay, that is your assignment. Make sure you attempt it and comment your answer below. Okay, make sure you comment your answer below, please, so we can learn from you too. I might also follow you or subscribe to your page too. Okay, so that is it about our aggregate functions and all. So the next function here is the conditional functions. Okay, so we have the conditional functions here. So this conditional functions actually helps us to group our data based on conditions. Okay, those are these ones helps us to, like, you know, these functions here helps us to clean our data. This here helps us to, you know, aggregate our data based on conditions or no conditions at all, and this one helps us to group our data based on a condition. Okay, for example, now let me say I want to group this data here based on this condition here. Let me find one example I can use. Okay, let me use this particular quantity now. Okay, so now this quantity here, I want to group this quantity based on 3 different things. Either high quantity, maybe the customer actually ordered high quantity, low quantity, or medium quantity. Okay, so either a customer ordered the high quantity, low quantity, or medium quantity. So now let's check how many quantities we have here, like how many unique quantities we have here. So we have about 1 to 10. So we have 1 to 10 quantities here. Like highest quantity order is 10 and lowest one is 1. Okay, so now that means if a customer orders between 1 and 3 quantities, that means it is a very low quantity, and between 4 and 6 quantity is medium, and between 7 and 10 quantity are high quantities. Okay, so you can now group all these quantities based on low, high, and medium. Okay, so you can use if to do that. So type your if function here, so you can see the logical test. Logical test is like the comparison. Like, do you want to compare? I said if it is between 1 and 3, so you have to compare. Is this thing equals 1? Is this thing between 1 and 3? If yes, then it is low. Is it between 4 and 6? If yes, it's medium. Is it between 7 and 10? If yes, it's high. Okay, so that's like logic. You are testing for those conditions. Okay, so now I have to test for if this particular quantity here is less than 4, is less than or equal to 3. Okay, is less than or equal to or less than 3. I think it should be the other way around. Is less than or equal to 3. Then value if this condition is true. Then the value is going to be what? Is going to be low. Don't type low like this. Type low in the double quotes. Okay, we type low in the double quotes like this. So if this particular cell is less than 3 or equal to 3, that means it's a low order, like low quantity ordered. Okay, then is your comma again. So we have value if 4. So what if it is not equal to 3? What if it is not less than or equal to 3? Then it is high. Notice here that we don't have the option to put in medium, right? There's no option for, because there's no any other argument here again, so there's no option for medium cells. Okay, that means if only accept 2 different options, either you are dark or white, either you are high or low, either you are tall or short, either you are busy or less busy, it is only 2 options that we have, either you are low or high. Okay, there's no medium there. That is what if does for you. So you can see that this one is less than, oh, I didn't get it well, this should be high. If I can see that the direction is showing. You can see that direction here is showing like greater than instead of less than. So that was my mistake. Okay, so it should be less than here. So if this particular cell is less than or equal to 3, then it is low. If it is higher than that, it is high. You can see we have high here. Let's autofill and see for all of them. Let's drag and drop. Yeah. So you can see high, low. These are high, and lows. So all the ones that are lower than 3 or 3 equal is low. You can see them here. They are both low, and all these ones are higher than 3 and they are high. This one is low. You can see how to use the if now. But if you want to take care of the medium as well, so you can use the nested if here to take care of the medium cells. Okay, so now if you want to get the medium cells, so let's use nested if to take care of all these 3 conditions here. Okay, so you are going to use the nested if. So nested if is not a function, it's actually if inside if, like multiple ifs nested together inside one if. Okay, so type your if now. Okay, so logical test here is the same logical test that we tested here. So if this particular cell here is less than or equal to 3 here, then the value if true is going to still be the same thing as what? It is going to be the same. It's going to be the same low, LOW here, then comma. What if it is not true? Then else, now add another if inside the if here. That's what we call the nested if inside another if. Okay, so else if another if now for our medium. Okay, so else if this particular cell is less than or equal to 6, yeah, it was 6, is less than again or equal to 6. This is for medium now. Then use your comma. Then value if this is true is going to be medium. Type medium in here. Okay, then comma, then the value if first. Now the last one is going to be the I, right? Because I is like the default value. It does not meet any of these conditions here. It's just take up this last condition here. Okay, that is if it is not less than 3 and it is not less than 6, that means it's also obviously higher than 6, and it's higher than 6 is very high. Then press enter here. Yes, help me close all the brackets. You can see here this one is medium because it's 6. Okay, autofill. This one is low, it is less than 3 or equal to 3. This one should be medium, and this should be high and high. You can check it and you see that we have high, low, low for the right one. That's how we use the nested ifs. Okay, so all this thing I did here can also be done easily with the if here. This can also be easily done with the ifs. Okay, so the ifs come with multiple conditions. Not like this one only comes with one condition, but this comes with multiple conditions. Okay, so let's use the ifs now to group our data our quantity based on high, low, and medium. Okay, so you come here, then you type your equal sign, then ifs with s in it. So logical test 1, because we have multiple logical tests. So logical test 1 now is if this particular quantity here is less than or equal to 3, then comma value if true. So if this condition here is true, then we want to have low. That means the order is actually low. Once the order is low, then comma logical test 2 again. So if this same cell here is less than or equal to 6 here, then comma, so the value if this one is true, that's going to be medium, right? Okay, the last one is going to be what? Logical test 3, and that's going to be for the I. So if this one now, if this particular cell is higher than 6, is greater than 6, like this, because this one is equal to or less than 6, so this one should be higher than 6, okay, then that should return what for you? Dash, or let me just see what I did before I do the last one. So this one has taken care of the medium. Let's check for the other ones. Autofill. You can see low, 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 medium. There's no I there because we've not taken care of the I values. Okay, so let's go and take care of the I values now. So if the same cell here comma, if the same cell here is higher than 6, greater than 6, then that should be I. Then press enter. Now let's autofill again to fill up the values. Guys, now we have highs and lows, and we have the mediums. Okay, even though in life there is no medium, it's only highs and lows. So you're high or you're low in life. Okay, so now we have the last function here for the conditional function, which is the switch function. This one is more, is more specific function. Like this ones here, like our ifs and our if, we're using some, we're using like a range for it. So for this switch here, there's no range, it's only specific value. So for this, we're saying, okay, if it is less than or equal to 3, that means things that are less than or equal to 3 are very much, like millions of things are less than, like millions of numbers are less than or equal to 3. So that is not specific. Okay, so if you want to see numbers are less than or equal to 6 are like millions of numbers, like all the negative numbers are less than or equal to 6, all the 1, 2, 3, 4, and in fact between 1 and 2 we have millions of numbers, like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.11, 1.12, 1.13, 1.111, 1.2. We have like millions or billions of numbers before 6. Okay, so that is not specific enough. But for the switch here, switch is more specific. Okay, like now if I want to group this one now based on, here they said, did they return the items? That's what this return mean. Like, did the customers return the items? Okay, now if it is yes, that means they returned the item. If it is no, that means they did not return the item. Okay, now if I want to change this one to returned the item, if I want to change this one to returned and this one to not returned, like every yes here will be returned and every no's here will be not returned. Okay, so now you can use the switch because that one is more specific, unlike numbers. Okay, so let's go and use switch to group that based on the return. So the expression here is going to be the first thing you want to compare every other thing to. Like yes is going to be the constant thing here. Now I will now be comparing yes and no to the yes. Like yes is the expression that is constant, so I want to be comparing yes and no to the yes. So okay, like this is the expression which is the yes. So now comma, now the value here is yes. I will explain. So yes is the value, then comma, now the result is the result 1. So the result here is yes means return, Abby. Yeah. Yes means return. So now what's happening here is that this L2 here is like the default expression. Now I'm comparing this yes to L2. So is the L2 equals yes? If L2 is equals to yes, then return this returned. Let me use capital R here. Then return the return for me. So press enter. Can you see that showing return for you? Let's automatically fill all the way down. Can you see that we have returned for all the yeses that we have here? All the yeses here will be returned. Can you see it? But for no's, there is no value there yet because we've not taken care of the no's. Okay, so now we have to compare no again So use your comma here. You can see here default. So we have default or value 2, but because we have only 2 options here, which is either yes or no, now I can just use the default, and default is going to be what? Is going to be no. So not returned. That is, if it is returned, then it is returned. If it is not returned, then it is not returned. So all this NaNA will change to not returned now. And that because that is the default value. But in case you have more than 2 different options, like we have highs and lows here, then you can just use like we did earlier. Okay, I hope you can see how to use the if, nested if, and the ifs, the switch in the Excel. Okay, and this also applies to Google Sheets. Okay, so that's it. Next thing I'm going to be looking at today is going to be the lookup functions and data validation. Okay, so here we have our VLOOKUPs, the HLOOKUP. Let me zoom in so you can easily see it properly. And we have our XLOOKUP here. Okay, so lookup functions are used to look up values in our table. So if you want to find a particular value in your table, you can easily use the lookup value to find the lookup function to find the value in your table. Okay, so for example, now if I want to find the region of Sarah Anades here, I'll just use any of these lookup functions here to find my region of Sarah Anades. Okay, I will use any of these functions here to find region of Sarah Anades, or if I want to find gender of Sarah Anades, I'll just use either the H or V or X lookup to find the Sarah Anades region. Okay, so let's come here and find the region of Sarah Anades with the V lookup. So type your V lookup here, and then the lookup value here is going to be the value you want to search. I want to search for the region of what? Of Sarah Anades. So the lookup value here is going to be the Sarah Anades. Then comma, then table array is going to be the entire table where you can possibly find the value that you are searching for. The entire table array like this, then comma, which is the entire table here. Then comma, the next argument is the column index number of what you are searching for, which is the region. I'm searching for the region of Anades here, and the column index number is the region index, the column region that is in this E column here, and that is going to be index number what? Count from A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the 5th column index number. Okay, then press. So you have the range lookup here. Do you want match mode, approximate match, or exact match? I want exact match always. Press enter. So region of Sarah Anades is going to be east. Is that correct? Sarah Anades is eastern. Yes, that's correct. Okay, that means Sarah Anades is from the eastern region here. Let's find the gender of Sarah Anades again. So come here, type your equal sign here, and then you have VLOOKUP here. So lookup value is going to be the Sarah Anades. That's the value that we know about. So we know the value we are searching for, which is the Sarah Anades, but we don't know her gender or his gender. I don't know yet. Okay, or maybe other. Okay, so Sarah Anades is the value that we know about, which is the lookup value. The one we know about is the lookup value here. Then use your comma. Then table array is going to be the entire table where you can possibly find Sarah Anades in. All this table here, then use your comma again. The next argument is the column index number of what you are searching for. What I'm searching for is gender. So gender is in where? Is in the column index number 2. Okay. Or is the second column in the table, then comma, of course, exact match. Like I want to return the exact match as what I'm searching for. Okay. Oh, that is male. Sarah Anades is male. Wait, what? How? Sarah seems like a, wow, it's actually male. It sounds like a female name. My bad. Okay, so Sarah is actually male, as you can see here, and she's from the east. Okay, let's find the same thing with our HLOOKUP. Okay, so you come here, then type your HLOOKUP like this. So lookup value is going to be the same Sarah Anades here, comma. Then table array is going to be the entire table where you can possibly find Sarah Anades here. Then use your comma. Then now we have, instead of us having column index here, we have row index number, which is the row index number of what we are searching for. Okay, notice here it is not in a row. So that is that we can't use HLOOKUP in a vertical table like this one. We can use HLOOKUP in a horizontal table like the one below here. So this is a horizontal table here. So let me show you how I got this horizontal table, so you don't start questioning me in the comments. They can still comment how you think I got it. Okay, so let me delete all this and get it again. So now I used transpose function earlier on how to transfer our data from vertical table to the horizontal table. Okay, so here I'll be using the same transpose here to change our vertical table to horizontal table here. So type your equal sign and use transpose like this. Then table array is going to be the entire table you want to transpose, which is going to be from here to here all the way up. Then press enter. So it will change this particular table here to a horizontal table because the HLOOKUP only works on horizontal table. Like H means horizontal, V means vertical. So the VLOOKUP works on vertical table like this, and HLOOKUP only works on horizontal table. Okay, so we are going to be using the HLOOKUP now to search our horizontal table for the same Sierra Anades region and sex. Okay, so type your equal sign again, then type the HLOOKUP here. So the lookup value here, the one I will know about is the Sierra Anades here. That's the lookup value. Then use your comma. The table array is the entire table where you can possibly find Sierra Anades, which is in our entire horizontal table here. Then use your comma again. Now the row index number is the index number of the value you're searching for, which is what? We're searching for the region now. The region is which row? Row number what? The region is in row number what? You can see how far I still have to go to get there. The region is in row number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't start counting from up. You start counting from where the table started from, which is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that is the 5th row. Okay, so type 5 here, then use your comma, then approximate match. Yes, exact match rather. You can see it's same from the same, is we got the same things. Let's find the gender of Sierra Anades as well, which is we don't know yet, right? So lookup value is going to be the value that you know about, which is Sierra Anades. So we are searching for Sierra's region now. So table array is going to be our entire table array will be our entire horizontal table here, then comma, then row index number of the gender, which is here. The row index number of gender is what? That should be second row. Yeah, 1, 2. Second row. Let's go back up and put 2 in our row index column. Row index number. Just 2. Then use your comma. Now approximate match or exact match. We want exact match. Okay, then press enter. So you can see we have the same male gender. Okay, so now we have the XLOOKUP here, and this is the lookup that I actually use every time. Okay, so we have the XLOOKUP. It works for both vertical table and horizontal table, and also some limitations in the HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. It is not in our XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is more flexible than the H and VLOOKUP. Okay, the X is more flexible than HLOOKUP. You can see that we have VLOOKUP, which is vertical table. H here is the horizontal table, and we have the X. So X in mathematics means what? It means unknown something. That means you can replace this X with either H or V, because X here is a variable, it's an unknown variable, right? So you can replace it with A. That means X here can search both vertical table and horizontal table. Okay, now let's use XLOOKUP to search for both vertical and horizontal table. So now let's start with the vertical table here. Let's search for the same thing here, Sierra Anades region and gender. Equal sign, then type your XLOOKUP here. So the lookup value is the same thing as the same Sierra Anades here. Then use your comma. Now the lookup array here is going to be the array of your lookup value. Okay, the lookup array here is the array of your lookup values, and that lookup values here is what? Is Sierra Anades. So what is the array of Sierra Anades? That is in the name, full name columns here. That is your lookup array. Then use your comma. Then the return array here means the array of the values you want to return, which is the region. I want to return the region of Sierra Anades. So the array of region now. So go to the region, and the entire region array will be returned for you. So you can see here that we have other arguments as optional. Any argument that has these square brackets around it means they are optional. So even if you press enter here, it will get you the same value as it is here, okay? But you can also fill for the other optional. So here it says value if not found. So if not found, I can just say, okay, that means it's not found. Then comma. So match mode here, the same exact mode, okay? Then comma. We have search mode here too. So do you want to search from up, or I want to search from the last? So I want to search from first. Then press enter. You can see we have the same east, okay? Now let's find the gender of Sierra Anades with our XLOOKUP as well. So the lookup value here is Sierra Anades, then is your comma. So lookup array here is the array of Sierra Anades, which is in the name, full name, or you can select the entire thing as well. So in the full name here, then is your comma. So now the return array is, we want to return gender, right? So the return is going to be the gender. Yeah, you can see the gender column, the entire gender column here. Then press enter. We are done. So that should return male for you, as you can see here. That is how you use XLOOKUP to search for a vertical table. If you want to search in a horizontal table here, let's copy this again, Control C all this and take it to the down because that place is too far to be coming back up. Okay, let's just paste it here. Now let's use the XLOOKUP to find the region of Sierra Anades here as well. Okay, so lookup value here is the Sierra Anades, then is your comma. So the lookup array here is going to be the entire array of who? The entire array of the Sierra Anades value, which is in the names here. So the entire names here all the way to the end here. Then is your comma. Let's go back to the beginning. So now the return array here is gender. So click here, the entire gender column, select it, and then press enter. You can see we have the male. Oh, it shouldn't have been, it should have been region instead of gender. So let's change this back to region, not gender. It should be region column, region row here. You can see we have the east. Okay, let's check the same thing for the gender of Sierra Anades. So type your equal sign, lookup value, so lookup XLOOKUP. Lookup value here is same thing as Sierra Anades here, then is your comma. Then lookup array here is going to be the array of our region now, which is the gender now, which is the entire gender here. Then is your comma. The next one is the return array. So the return array is going to be the array of what you want to return, which is what? Now you want to return the gender, so the entire gender here. This should be the entire name, comma, and this should be the entire gender. The return array should be gender, then press enter. You can see we have the same male there. Okay, that's how we use the lookup functions in Excel to search for values in our data. Okay, so now I want to show you how to use, how to use data validation in Excel. Okay, because in Excel sometimes you might want to send out your data file, like your Excel file or your CSV file or your Google Sheet file for people to just fill up for you, and they might be entering some data that you don't feel like comfortable with. Okay, so you can just validate those data for them to not be able to enter wrong data to it. Okay, like now you can have some names here, and you have the age here. So you can see here we want to accept only age here. We don't want to accept any text. So you can just come here and then go to data tab here and then go to data validation here and just say I don't want to accept any value. I want to accept only numbers, whole numbers, as you can see here, and click on OK. You must enter both maximum and minimum. Okay, so you want to accept it must not, the person must not be less than 18 and also must not be above 70, like between 18 and 70. Then press enter. So if you enter any wrong number here, like you are entering 12, you can see to bounce, this doesn't match the position defined for this particular cell. You have to enter between 18, that's done, and 70. If you enter 71, it will bounce you back as well, as you can see. That's what data validation does. And this one as well, if you want to specify for the type of inputs you want in this particular cell as well, so just choose any input, or maybe you want a test or a list. So a text length is okay, and between just two, because some Chinese actually has two names, like two letters as their names, and the maximum should be 25. Yeah, so if you enter any number here, it will accept it. If you enter, because it sees number as text as well, okay? If you enter just one name here, it will bounce you back. If you enter more than 25 names, let's try it. It will bounce it back as well. But if you enter between 2 and 25 letters, it's going to accept it as well, okay? And the major one I want to show you is how to enter all our names so you can see other people as well, because here I can't be searching for each of these names here one by one to be searching for their region and their names, sorry, their gender as well. So I can't be searching it one by one. I can easily put all these full names here inside one particular cell here, and then I can easily select the name I want to see their region and their gender at the same time. Okay, so I'll just come to this place and go to data validation here, and any input here is going to be list. The list means the list of the names, which is in the full name now. So list source is here. Click on list source here and then go to the full names here and select the entire full names all the way to the down. Like use your shortcut Control Shift and arrow down, and then you can see here this is our list here. Press OK. Now go back to where you have your lookup values. You can see it here. So now we have our list inside this particular cell. Let me just get another color. So our list of names are here. If I want to see the name of maybe the region and gender of Emily Miller, let's check Emily Miller. Emily. I might have Emily. I can't find it. There are too much. Okay, I want to check for maybe Jane Garcia now. It will change here. Jane Garcia is from the east and also male, maybe. You can see Laura Davis is female and from the north, as you can see it here. And Chris Davis is not defined. Maybe is not male and is not. She is not female. Okay. So you check for another person here. Emma Martinez is from the east and is male, as you can see here. So that is how you can easily automate this. So you won't be doing for each of the names one by one. You can easily automate it like using your lookup functions and your data validation to automate your reports easily like this here. This is just like the beginning of automation. We still have advanced automation in Excel that we're going to get to as well. Okay. The next thing we're looking at today is going to be the Excel table. So the Excel table is used to get quick insight from our data, and to it also has some special features in it that we can actually use to format our data properly, and to also get some quick insight from our data, and to also summarize our data using pivot table. So the Excel table is also used to format Excel data properly. When you have data like this, for example, in Excel, let me just say I just type my name here and then the age here, then we have the gender here. As you can see, I'm just typing the data into my Excel. So this is not a table yet until I format this data here as a table before you can have it as a table. Okay, so Excel table is used to format our data properly, to have it, and it also has other features like auto sum, the filter and the sorting button, and also the summarize pivot table and other things as well, okay, that we explain to you in this video. So here now, let's format this data here. Just typed into our Excel worksheet as just ordinary data, just one by one. Now, if I want to make all these tables now as one, okay, to learn make it as an Excel table, I'll just use a shortcut, or you can see up here. So I'll just click somewhere. Let me format this properly as a table. It should format it actually. So now just click anywhere in my table, in my data for now. This is a data now. I'll just click anywhere in data here and then go to the format as table here. Click on and choose any format of your choice here. I would like this simple format here, then click on it. So now you will see this pop up here. So that shows that where is this data coming from. You can see where it is from here. You can see it here, and this is from A1 to J201. Okay, and yes, my table actually has headers because of these table headers here. They are my headers. Okay, I'll just click on OK, and to format that data for me as a proper Excel table that I can use to get quick insight from my data or draw other Excel features into my table. Okay, another way of formatting your Excel table as a table is to just click anywhere in the data and then click on Ctrl C. you can see you have the same pop-up here. Control T will bring this up for you. Control T or Command T. If you're using a Mac, then press Enter. Then it's formatted for you automatically. Then you can just come here and then change the format here to any one of your tastes. You can choose anyone that I want to work with, but I prefer using this simple format here. Okay, so this is now as an Excel table, but after I formatted this as an Excel table, I now have an extra design tab here. You can see table design here. This is once you format your table, your Excel data as a table, then you now have this extra tab here, which is called the table design. Okay, so this is where you have other functionalities that you can easily apply to your tables. Okay, so let me explain this table. So now this table here, you can easily add or you remove some, enlarge or resize your table to make it small, or you can easily use the auto sum here. If you click the last thing here, let me say in this our unit price here, let me remove this two now. Delete the two columns here. Now we have this, just this column here. So I'll come to the total price down here, and I'll just use Control Alt equal sign, that is the auto sum, or click on the auto sum here, then to automatically sum the entire revenue for you. I can see here, this is our automatic revenue here. So it is like that for all these columns here. If you want to see the total revenue here, this is not total, but you can see the count here. So let's check for count. We see the count. Let's see what we can check for here. Max, it will not show you anything because you only find the maximum numbers, not the maximum test. Okay, but you can actually count numbers, but there is no number here. So just ordinary count. So you have the same 200 for all of them. But these numbers here, you can easily find the count of the number 200. The average of these numbers, you can see it here, 4100. And find the other maybe max number here, which is 14k, and min number should be around 63k. Yes, we saw it earlier. And then the standard deviation of this one should give you this as well. So this is what we call the auto sum. Okay, and the equal sign should give you that as well. Let's Control Z and use the equal sign. So you click on the last cell there on that particular, you can see here that we are in our total price now, which is also the same as total revenue. So go to the last cell there, which is under here, then use your Alt equal sign like this. It automatically sum the entire revenue for you, and this one also has the same thing as we saw earlier. As you can, that's one feature of using an Excel table. Okay, another feature is that you can actually sort and filter this entire table here. Okay, you can sort and filter your table very easily. So now I want to see all the sales made selling to our female customers. So I'll just come to gender here and then filter for only the female customers. Okay, I'll just click here, then filter for only female. So I have to uncheck all the other persons here and check only female like this, then click on OK. You can see here we have only female gender. If you look at it all the way down, you'll be seeing only female. Can you see we have only female here, and that is about 61 different females. If you want to see order now, let's check for order. That should be around 70. You can see it here. So this is 70 over 200 here. So that is how you can filter your data very easily. If you want to clear the entire filter, you don't want to apply any filter, you can easily check all of them and click on OK, or click on clear filter from gender here. Okay, that's how you can clear your filter. That's another feature of using an Excel table. Another feature is that you can easily sort your data. Okay, for example, I can see the return here. So this return here actually has two different data. It has two different data, like the yes or no, like two different data points here, the yes and the no's. Okay, if I want to sort it, like I want to see all the no's first and then followed by all the yes. Okay, then sort from A to Z. So all the no's will come first, then yes will come last. Can you see now? That's how you can easily sort your data and see some data at the top and some at the bottom. So you can also sort from Z to A, that is all the yes will come first and then all the no's will go to the last one. You can see all the yes will come first and all the no's will be at the last part. Okay, that's another feature of using an Excel table. Another one is if I want to filter for I want to see all the surnames that are, all the people that are Williams here. Okay, all the Williams surname. I can easily see all the Williams surname, right? Okay. Now that we have plenty Williams. So we have Emma Williams, and we have Sarah Williams, we have Laura Williams, we have Emily Williams, and I'm sure there will be many more Williams there. Okay, I'll just come here and then filter for any text. Use text filter as filter for text that contains Williams. Okay, because you have tests that are equal to the entire text. but because I don't know all the Williams now, I will just search for all the people that has Williams in their names. Okay, so I will just come here and then go to text filter and then go to begins with, not begin with, not ends with. It contains William. All the text that contains William, that's all the names that contains William. I'll just come here and then type Williams and then press OK. So I will see all the Williams. So you can see all of them are Williams. So we have plenty Williams like this, as you can see here. Okay, they are all from different states, different regions. Okay, so that is how you can easily filter and also sort your table. Now let's clear the filter from the Williams. Okay, that's how you can do that. Another thing is, if you click on the Excel table here and then if I click away, the table design is going to disappear a bit because the table design is only designed for the table. If I click on anywhere in the table, you see that table design tab here. So click on it and then you see different things can also apply to your Excel table here. So the first one here is Excel table name. So this table name here is like you want to rename your table. So in case, okay, we can also have different multiple tables inside one Excel sheet. Okay, like this is one Excel sheet here. I can have multiple tables inside this same Excel sheet here. Okay, and Excel will see them as separate tables. Okay, let me paste it here. Control V. I thought I copied something now. Control C. Control V. Let's copy it and paste it down here as well. To show you that you can have multiple tables. You can see we have 2 tables now. Let's paste it here as well. So we have 4 different tables inside this one Excel worksheet. And if you want to use any of these tables now, so you can easily import this table here to your Power Query for data. If you want to clean this table in Power, you can easily import each of them to your Power Query. And Excel will see them separate as separate things. Okay. For example, you can easily give this particular table here a name. And the name is going to be in the table design here. So let's give this one a table first. Let's just write first, no need of table. So this is first table and this one here is second table. Let's rename this one too. Go to, okay, let's format this as an Excel table. So Control T and then enter. This is an Excel table now. So go here and then rename it as table second. Okay, so go to the third one down here. Let's format this one as an Excel table. So use your Control T, click anywhere in the table and then use Control T. And then yes, always check my table as headers so you don't make mistake. Okay, then Control T this one as well, then press enter. Okay, so now we have 3 different tables, 4 different tables in our Excel worksheet now. So let's give this one to a name, and this is going to be table third, and this here will be table fourth. Okay, so you can see here now that we've given these tables names now. So if you want to use this table here in your Power Query or in Power BI or in SQL or in Python, so this table here, they're going to be seen as individual tables. So they don't have any correlation together. Okay, they're just separate tables inside one worksheet. That means you can have multiple tables inside one worksheet. Okay, and you can easily work on them separately. That's another benefit of using an Excel table. Okay, so another thing is this Excel name, they all have their individual names. This is first and this is second, third and fourth is there. Okay, the next thing is you can summarize any of the table here with pivot table, but we don't want to go to pivot table now. That should be the last thing we talk about here. Okay, so you can summarize any of this table here with pivot table, right? So you just click on the table here, then click on summarize pivot table, and then show you a pop-up here. So when you get to Excel pivot table, I will show you a complete step-by-step on how to use pivot table. Okay, let's cancel this now. You can also remove duplicate from your data. So if you click on this and then you just go to remove duplicates, yes, you have to check all the columns here for you to remove duplicate from all your tables. Okay, all your table, because all the columns in your table, you have to check all of them to remove the duplicate from this entire table here. So click on OK. No duplicate value found because all these records here are all unique records. Okay, there is no person with the same record. They are all unique records. That's why there is no duplicates there. Okay, another thing is to convert to range. So to convert to range means you want to convert this Excel table here to a normal Excel data. Okay, that is, you want to remove this table here from Excel table to normal data as it was initially. So just click on anywhere here, then click on convert to range, not this one. Click convert to range here. So do you want to convert the table to a normal range? Yes, I want to remove this from Excel table. So now it is not an Excel table again. You can see there is no extra tab here. That is the table design tab here. So this is not an Excel table again. But if you click on this one here, you will see the extra tab, the table design tab here. But if you click on this, there won't be extra tab. That means this is not an Excel table again. If I want to convert this back to an Excel table, just use your shortcut, the Control T shortcut, Control T and enter. So this is now an Excel table. Okay, so the next thing here is what I really like so much, okay, because instead of us filtering for only the male gender here, let's filter for the other gender. There's blank, yes. So the other gender is here. Instead of you just clicking and filtering like this, you can easily use the what we call the slicers in Excel table here. So if you click on any of the table here, anywhere in the table here, and then go to insert slicer, you can easily insert any of these slicers into your table. So insert slicers here. So you have all the table, all the columns involved in your table here. So you have the full name column is here, and the gender is here, department is here, product is here, region is here, other date is here, and so on. They are all here. So you can easily use any of them to filter your data very easily. So let's use all of them now so you can see how easy it is. So these ones are filterable if there's an English like that. Okay, so now we have all these slicers here. We call them slicers. Okay, I've mistakenly filtered that, so you can clear here. I will explain all of them. So the first one here is the return. So this return here is this is its slicer here. So now there's a blank at the end, so don't mind the blank. Okay, the blank is because there's no any value in this particular part. Okay, so let's just remove this entire let's list the entire auto sum here. Okay, now let's go back. There won't be blank again. Now the blanks are gone now. Okay, so now the return here, these are the return because we have only two different values. Okay, we can also use Excel table to do our data cleaning. For example, if I want to check for data quality in my Excel, okay, in my Excel table, I will just click each of these tables here and check the quality of data. So I'll just go to each of the columns here. I will inspect each of the columns to see if there is a data error in any of the columns, because this here is showing us all the possible data points that we have in that particular column. For example, this particular gender column now, if we click on this filter button here, so we have all the possible items or contents in that particular column. So we have only 3 unique contents there in that particular column. That is, the first one is the male, female, and the other. Those are the 3 things we have there. That means, yes, all the data there is actually quality. You check for each of them to see if that, yes, this one too, we are all correct. They are all quality. So you check for their spellings, their cases, in their in uppercase or lowercase, because if you have like millions of data sets, you can't be scrolling and be checking them one by one like this. That will take a lot of your time. Okay, so you have to like just use this particular filter here. So you check them, yes, everyone is good, and you check this one as well. Yes, we have normal case, normal formatting. Yes, this is cool. You check for the product as well. Headphones, keyboards, laptop, cool. Everywhere is good. And for region, east, west, north, south, yes, that's cool. For date as well, I'm sure that one too will be cool. So you have 2023 and 24 years. That's absolutely fine. Then for prices, should be okay. Yeah, that's cool. Then for return, we should have only 2 values there. Yes. So now if I want to filter for these values, now then I want to filter for, I want to see all the no returned. You can see it will filter for only the no's. As you can see here, you will see only no's in that Excel table. Let's filter for yeses. You will see only yeses here. You can even combine these 2 filters. Let's bring one more filter here. Let's say all the products that were not returned. All the products that were not returned. Okay, so click on this no. So this means all this one were not returned. Let's see all the headphones that were not returned. You can see the products here, headphones, all the headphones that were not returned, all the keyboards that were not returned, you can see them here, all the laptop. You can combine these 2. You can even combine 3 or 4, as many as you can combine. So you can combine all of them here. Okay, that's how, if you want to clear it, then just clear it here. So we use this slicer here as a filtering option. Okay, let's delete them, and then I like using slicer a lot. Actually, you also use slicer in pivot table as well. So when you get there, I will show you how to use slicer in pivot table. So stick to the pivot table part. That is the end. Okay, so the next one here is let's go to our table design here. So next one is to export. You can export this your table here to your SharePoint list or other websites that want to be using them, okay? And next one is to refresh. So in case you add an extra data to your Excel table, you can easily refresh and all those data will be reflected in your Excel table, okay? Another one here is the header row and column total row. So let's check what header row actually does. Let's uncheck this. Can you see when I uncheck it, then our header is gone. If I check it, our header will be back. So it is used to toggle between showing and displaying and not displaying your header, okay? Then total row here means all the rows that we have below here. No, we are not showing total rows below. If I check this total rows, it will be showing me total all the way down here. Let's check it now. Can you see now we have the total row here? So let's check for this. Same as auto sum that I used earlier. Okay, and next one here is the banded row. Banded row means alternating color for our rows. You can see the row 2, the row 1 here has a different color, the row 2 has a different color, the row 3 has a different color. Now from here on, we're not having alternating color. So you can see here we have lighter gray. For this row here, we have lighter gray. Here we have white, lighter gray, white, lighter gray, white, and so on and start, like alternating the colors for our rows. That's how banded row does, okay? So let's uncheck that. So the next one here is the first column. So first column here basically just, you can see what happened. It's just bolding your first column. The first column in your table will be bolded, okay? That is what first column does. So the last column here will bolding the last column in your table, as you can see it here. Then we have the banded column here. So you just give your column like a specific color. Like you can see the alternating color for our columns. So this column A now has some colors. This one is normal, this one has colors, this one is normal, this one has colors, this one is normal. That is what banded column does, okay? And now we have the filter button. So if I uncheck this filter button, that means I want to hide our filter, but this particular filter button here, that means I want to hide it. So let's check. Uncheck means hiding, then check it means I'm showing it, okay? Then this one is, of course, if you want to format your table as any one of your choice. You might choose this or anyone, that's cool with you. And that is what Excel table does for you, okay? The next thing here is the conditional formatting in Excel. So the conditional formatting is used, let me use the same data I used earlier here. This seems, you know, smaller than this one. You can see it's way smaller than it. Then you can zoom in and zoom out. So let's remove it as Excel table. So conditional formatting is actually used to format our data or our table based on a specific condition that is specified by us or for us, okay? So if you want to use conditional format, that means you want to format a particular column in your table or the entire table actually, but most of the time we use a particular column to format our data based on a particular condition due to that particular column, okay? For example, now we have a particular, we have these prices here now. So if I want to highlight all the high prices, let's check for, if I want to highlight all the high prices here, I can easily highlight all the high prices with a condition, okay? So now just come here, I will first highlight the entire column here and then go to conditional formatting here. So we have highlight cells, okay? So I want to highlight all the cells that are higher than 10k, 10k. All the total price, like all the revenue higher than 10k will be highlighted for me in my own format that can specify to this to do it for me. So all the 10k and above will be highlighted for me, okay, with any format I specify to it, okay. So now I want to have green text, you can see it here, anyone I want to be applied to it. So all the 10k, let's see how many of them will be highlighted. You can see them here. It will highlight all the revenue above 10k, as you can see here. So all of them are all above 10k. That is how conditional formatting works, okay. Like it is used to highlight a particular cell that meets a specific condition, okay, with your own specific formatting. Now let's highlight the ones that are above 7K because we have one now that is common. So let's format this back. So let's clear the entire formatting, clear all the cells. Okay, let's highlight it again and let's format all the cells that are above 7K now, greater than 7K. Yeah, this, let's use 7K. And we are going to choose a darker, a bolder font for it, and also a different font type for it. Okay, so you can see the things you can do with conditional formatting here. So let's choose this. Go to the custom formatting here, and then you see border or fill. Let's choose a fill here. The pattern color, that's cool. So color should be this, pattern color of this. Yeah, and then go to fonts, and then you see bold here. You can bolden the color. You bolden your text, the prices here, and then what else? Color font should be black with this should go, let's use white. So white with this should be okay. Then click on okay. Nice. Now so I'll be combining white with blue. So all the tests that are above 7K, we are going to have this particular formatting here. Okay, that is how you can use conditional formatting to format your data, and just to demarcate that okay, this one actually meets this particular rule I set for this column. Okay, so all these highlighted values here, they meet the rule I set for this particular column here. That is what conditional formatting does. Okay, now let's explore more things you can do with conditional formatting. So let's do so we have more. So you can use the same thing I used earlier. You can use greater than, less than, between, equal to, text that contains a date occurring, like 2 dates occurring between each of them. Then you have dates duplicate values. So if you want to check for duplicate values, just highlight the entire cells here and then go to duplicate values here. Then to highlight all the duplicate, I think they are all duplicate values. Okay, yeah, they are all duplicate values. That there is no unique value in this particular column here. That's what that is telling you. And then yeah, that's that. So let's check for more things we can do here. Let's highlight the entire cell here again. The entire cell again, and then go to conditional formatting. Now the next one here is top bottom rows. So here maybe like top 10 items or bottom 10 items, above average, below average, top 10% and bottom 10%. Okay, so this top 10 item means the highest 10 items from this particular column, that is the highest 10 revenue, the top 10 revenue basically from this entire revenue here. So let's choose green color for it. Okay, and click on okay. So this is the top 10 revenue here. So one, let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, that's your top 10, the highest 10 revenue from this. So if you want to see the bottom 10 revenue, as I just go and do the same thing. So go to sorry, top bottom. So bottom 10 items. So the that should have the red color because they are the lowest items there. So let's check for that one. So 1, 2, that's the least revenue from this particular revenue here. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 of those items. Okay, let's see why we have 12 instead of 10. Okay, so let's check for the lowest first. That's going to be let's sort this particular list here. Let's check. So 120 is very low, still the lowest, still the lowest. 63 is actually the lowest. 63 is the lowest. 229, 148. Are you sure I'm using bottom 10 or I'm using something else? Let's check. Bottom 10 items. Okay, let's clear this here. Let me make sure I'm using the right thing. So let's check for bottom 10 items now. The list 10 items here. Okay, now let's count again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11. We have 2 of them. Yeah, that means the highest 2 408, and yes, there is where the problem is. Okay, so if you check this list very well, right, you will see that we have the first two, the highest lowest 9 items, actually they are all unique. Okay, but now we have two, because we are comparing them after you get the lowest 9 items, right? So now the last one, because we need to get 10 lowest items, so the last one is not going to be 408. Now we have two different 408s, so you can't take one and leave the other one. It has to take the two of them. That's why you have 11 here. It will have to take the two of those 408s, which is this and the other one. So it can't take one and leave the other one, and they are the least, like they are the last one to actually consider. Okay, that's why we have 11 different items here. That is how that one works. Okay, now let's explore more about how the conditional formatting works. Let's clear this error here. The next one here is the data bar. So data bar here basically helps you to use bar like a bar chart, bar chart and column chart here. So it's uses bar with colors to show you the higher value in that particular ranking and the lower value in the ranking. Okay, so now if I want to use any of these, let's use, because they are all the same thing, just different colors and different bar formats. You can see here that this one is actually thicker and this one is lighter. That is the only difference. Now let's use the thicker one to explain this. Okay, if you look at this now, okay, notice that they are all different bars, okay, except the one that are equal. Let's check those 408. If I still see them there, I can't see 408. Okay, we have one 408 here and another 408. I can't see that again. It has disappeared. Okay, so now you can see that this one here is higher than the rest of them. That's because the value there is actually high. So it is using bar to represent the values in each of those cells. Okay, so the higher the bar, the higher the value in that particular. Let's make it long so you can see it here. Okay, so the higher the bar, the higher the value in that particular cell. Okay, so that is what is happening. And this one is very high, 14K. I think that's what, okay, that was not the highest earlier. Let's see, that is the highest, 12K. Yeah, that's actually highest. That is 14. This is the highest, followed by this. Then those 12Ks are also following them. Okay, so that's how you can easily use conditional formatting to format your data with this formatting. Okay, so let's clear the entire cell and then check for next thing you can do with it. So you have color scale here. So this color scale is showing that, okay, if you want to format, let's use this particular one here. So because this, when I was working with a particular company in Nigeria, our color scale was between green and red. So if you have high revenue, then you have a green color. If you have very low revenue, then it is red. Then if you have a medium revenue, then that is yellow. Okay, so here the same thing. The higher revenue here are showing as green, then the lower revenue here are showing as red, and then the medium ones are showing as, yeah, so the deeper the green, the higher the revenue, the deeper the red, the higher the caster. This one here is not like red, is not yellow, even I don't know about colors. Okay, but this is not entirely red and it's not entirely, that means that like it is medium between, it is between the red and the yellow. That means it's like slightly lower than the average. Okay, then if it is completely yellow, that means it's actually very average. Then the tight, you can see how green this one is, that means it's very high revenue. Okay, and that is how the company used to use it then. Now let's check for another color we can use. Another one here is the green entirely. So this shows that this is between green and white. So the whiter the color, the lower the value. The greener the color, the higher the value. You can see that you have shade of green here. Okay, so the greener the color, the higher the value in that particular cell. Okay, that is how conditional formatting works. It's actually very sweet thing to use. Okay, I like using it a lot. Then here we have the icon set as nesting. So this icon set here is just used to show the direction of your values. Either they are going up, that is going higher, or they are going lower, or they are just average. So if you use this particular one here, it will show you the direction of each of them. You can see this one is going up, that means high revenue. This is coming down, that means they are very low revenue. You can even see them here. And this one here is average revenue. Okay, so all these ones here, they are all average revenue, and these ones are low, like as you can see by yourself as well. And these ones here, they are high revenues. Okay, so what happens here is that this Excel uses what we call statistics to compare these values and see the average values here, the minimum values here, and the maximum value here, and also standard deviation value here. So all these things happens in the back end without you even knowing how it even happens, but it calculates the entire values here. It will sum those values. I want to explain to you how conditional formatting works now. Okay, so first sum those values to know what is the sum of this entire revenue here. It will count them to know how many revenue we have here. It will now check each of those values, see the higher values and the medium values, and it will now rank them based on how high they are. It's now going to find the median values and the higher values and the lower values as well. All these things happen in the back end. Okay, so you might not know how it happens, but at least you know that okay, it's giving you what you want in the front end here. Okay, so let's see more things. I think that's it. Yeah, so you can explore different icon sets here to see how they all actually works. Okay, and the next thing here is going to be the Power Query in Excel. So I will show you how to use Power Query in Excel. To get to Power Query, there are different ways of getting to Power Query. So the first way is to click on Data tab here and then go to Get Data, and then go to Launch Power Query Editor here. Click on Launch Power Query Editor. Then it's going to launch Power Query Editor for you, where you can easily clean your data and do several other things you want to do to your data. Okay, now there's no any data in my Power Query, so I'm going to close and then launch it in another way. So now I'm going to click on anywhere in my data and then go to the same data tab here and then go to from table/range. Click on it. Then it's going to select your entire table for you. You can want to work with this particular table here. Okay, now click on this. Then to take that entire Excel sheet to your Power Query for further data cleaning that you want to do to your data at all. But there's no any cleaning here that I want to do. Just show you that different ways of cleaning your data sets in your Power Query. Okay, so the first thing here is I can easily decide to remove some data, right? I can decide to remove some data here. I don't need this quantity and unit price, so I'll just click on quantity here and then remove it. So I'll click on it, right click on it, and then do remove column because I don't need that particular column. Okay, oh, I need it. I think I need that particular column. So now I have to like undo the process now. So I'll just do Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Oh, Ctrl Z is not in Power Query. No, actually, Ctrl Z is not in Power Query. So now, if you want to Ctrl Z, like to undo any step you've done before in Power Query, you have to like come here to your right hand side here. You can see applied steps here. Okay, now let me explain this right hand side to you step by step. Okay, so the first thing here is query setting. So this query setting shows the name of your table. Now, if I wanted to use the Excel data from the Excel table earlier, I would have been seeing first, second, third, fourth here. Like I renamed the data in a table before, but now I'm using a different table here. So you can easily name this your table to anything, sales data, anyone that works for you. So this is the name of my table. And if I click on enter, the name we apply here. So this is the name of my table now. Okay. So now this apply step means all the steps that I took in all this data cleaning process here, they will all be here. Okay, if I remove another thing here now, you remove column. Now I remove columns, still the same thing, right? So now if I want to undo that particular step I made now, I'll just click here, right, to undo the step I made. So now I've returned all the columns that I removed, as you can see it here. Okay, so now let me remove those columns. So if I want to remove multiple columns, I'll just click on one, hold my control and click on the other one. I want to remove these two columns now, and I'll just right click here and then click on remove columns. Okay, or I'll just come to remove columns from here and I'll click on it and it's going to remove those columns for me. That's how you can easily remove your columns here. Okay, so that's the first thing. So if you come here now, you can easily duplicate your tables here. Right click on the table, like right click on the table and then duplicate table or reference table. So duplicate and referencing are actually the same thing, almost the same thing. Okay, but the duplicate is like you are copying the entire table to a new place. Referencing means you are trying to duplicate the table even though they still have a connection between each other. So anything you do to the first table, we reflect in the reference table. Okay, so that's that. So now let's explore each of the tabs that we have up here. So the first tab here is the file tab here. Okay, so you have close load to model, and then discard and close, and so on. So close and load here means you want to close this particular Power Query and load this data here to your Excel for further data analysis. That's what the close and load. If I click on this close and load now, it will close the entire Power Query and then load this data here to my Excel for further data analysis. Okay, if I close and load to a model, it's going to close and load this to my data model. Okay, and if I close and if I discard, and that means I want to discard the entire change I made here and just close it. Okay, then we have other ones, option and setting. Okay, the next one here is the table home tab here. Okay, if you come to the home tab, you see the same close and load here. So if you close here and load, that means you want to close the entire Power Query here and load this data here to Excel for further cleaning or further analysis. Okay, the next one here is the refresh. So refresh means if you want to, maybe you added an extra data to your Excel table earlier, and I want to refresh it to reflect in your Power Query, you can just refresh here, then all those changes will reflect in your Power Query. Then I have property and advanced editor and so on. So this one manage here means delete the table here, or duplicate the table, or reference the table. Yeah, so just straightforward. So we have choose columns here. Choose column means if you want to choose a column to show here, you can easily choose columns here. So you can choose a column that you want to show or you want to remove here. Okay, so I want all the columns, so I cannot choose column here now. If you click on OK, then I think I've removed column earlier, so you've seen how that one works. Now we have keep rows. So this keep rows basically keep the top rows for you, or bottom rows, or however you want to keep it. So you have keep top rows, keep bottom rows, keep range, keep duplicate, and keep error. So keep top row means you can select, maybe I want to keep only the first 10 rows in my data. So just press 10 here, choose 10 rows to keep, then press enter. So you only keep the first 10 rows in your data. So I want to undo that. I want to keep all. So next thing here is what to keep bottom rows. So keep the last 10 rows means keep bottom rows. So I want to keep the last 10 rows in my data. So these are the last 10 rows in my data now. Okay, but I want to keep everything. Okay, so the next one here is the keep duplicate. This means don't remove any duplicates. I'm sorry, keep only duplicates. Well, I highlighted this one, right? Let's undo and highlight this one. This is empty, so it's going to keep only the duplicates in your data. Okay, this is going to keep only the duplicates in your data, and this one here, it will keep errors, but there's no any error here. Okay, but you have the remove here. So this remove also works like keep. So the remove means you want to remove those rows. So for example, I want to remove the top rows here now. Let me remove the first 10 rows. I want to remove it now, like the first 10 rows here. So remove the first 10 rows. So you have others left. You can also remove the bottom 10 rows, and we have others left. You can also remove other rows. Now I want to remove duplicate from this data now. So you just select the entire table like this. If you want to remove duplicates now, the entire table, well, I mistakenly clicked something. So let's remove duplicate from here. Maybe it's going to work. Yeah, no duplicates was removed. Okay. Yeah, so that is how you can remove duplicates from your table. And the next one here is split columns. So the split columns here actually works like I'm trying to split one column here. Okay, so split column basically works like our text to column in Excel. Now I showed you a text column in Excel. That is, you want to split columns to different columns, but we don't have the column that you can split here except this particular date here. So let's split this. Okay, so let's click here, then go to split column. So split by delimiter. Let's split by delimiter now. So delimiter here is, you can see that it's automatically sees the delimiters. Delimiters here are things that are separating your dates, and here it is the slash. Okay, so you can see each occurrence of the slash, so it will split it to different columns. So now each occurrence of the delimiter, we split this to 3 different places because we have 2 different slashes in each of them. So we choose the leftmost now. It will split the days and then leave the month and the years together. Okay, let's click on this one now. It will split the days to separate column and then leave the month and the years together in the other column. Okay, so that's how you split in Power Query. So the next one here is the group by. So the group by here is used to group different columns by a particular value. For example, now if I want to group our gender by their total revenue, so okay, that is each of these gender here with their total revenue in front of them. Okay, you can either use the group by here and then group gender here by not counts. I want to give it the revenue. The name should be revenue. The name of the new column should be revenue. and operation should be sum. I want to sum the total revenue and group it them by the gender, and this should be the revenue total price. Okay, then click on OK. So you can see here each of those genders with their total revenue in front of them, like you can see here now. Okay, that's how the group by works. You can see total gender here by their total revenue. As you can see, it's like you are doing analysis. Okay, that is that. Another thing, if you want to rename your column like this, revenue here, total prices should be revenue, right? So if you want to rename this, you can just right click here and then find the rename somewhere here. This is it here. Click on it. You can easily type anything you want here. Press enter. That's the name. That's not the name. You can click here and then find the name somewhere here. Or maybe the rename is not there. Or maybe it is here. Yeah, the rename is here. Then click here. Then you can rename the column. Type anything there. Or just double click. This is my favorite. Okay, just double click on the column header like this and then rename it to what it should be. Revenue. Okay, that is how to rename a table or a table header, column header. Okay, another thing is data type in our Power Query. So now if you look at each of these columns here, you know, this one is showing ABC, this one is showing ABC, 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 this one is showing like a calendar, and this is showing like in like numbers. Okay, that means Power Query is smart enough to detect those data type for, because this revenue here is showing as 1. So that means we have only whole numbers here, no decimal number. It's just no text, no nothing, no dates in this particular revenue column here. It's only whole number that we have here. Okay, and this place is showing that we have only dates data type here. There's no any text, no numbers. It's only data we have here, and this is showing that okay, we have only text here. That's what ABC is used for. The 1 3 is of course whole number. If you change this one here to a decimal point, now you can change the type in this place to anything of your choice. Let's use decimal points now. Then we see 1.1, 1.2 rather. That is in decimal places. That means all this column here, they are in decimal places. Okay, but it should be whole number. So choose whole number here. Yes, replace current one. That's how data type works. Okay, let's go back home. So the next thing here is data type actually, and if you want to change any type of data here, just highlight the entire column here and then click on this data type here and change it to what it is supposed to be. But here it's supposed to be text and it's actually in text, so let's return it to be in text. Okay, and next thing here is use first row as header, and that is already there. Okay, that means I want to use the first row here as my column header, but if I change it again now to use first row as header, it is going to replace our column header with the first row in the contents in the table. Let's undo that so you can see what happened. So our normal headers here are the order ID, first name, last name, gender, department, and so on. Now if I use the first row as, it's going to use the first rows as what we have the first rows here as our column header. So if you use first row as header now, it will use David, Johnson, and so on as our column headers, but we don't want that. Okay, we want to use our normal headers as our column header, as you can see here. The next one is to replace values, just like the substitutes in Excel. That cleaning. Okay, so you can use replace here as well to replace values in your table. But everything about the pivot table, about Power Query here, is actually about drag and drop. There's no any formula. You're not writing any formula here, just drag and drop. Click, drag and drop. That's all you need to do here to clean your data. As you can see, I've been doing this morning here. So now if I want to replace any value here, like just come to department here and then click on HR here and then click on replace values. That I want to replace HR here with the human resources. Okay, so you can see because I clicked on the HR, it's going to select it for me automatically. So I want to replace HR here with the human resources, as you can see here. So click on OK. All the HRs here will be changed to human resources. Let's change IT as well. You can also select the entire column here and then replace value, but you have to type the IT by yourself now. That is information technology, info technologies. Okay, so it won't be too long for the column to contain. You can see here, so all the ITs will be changed to infotech and all the HR will be changed to human resources. That's how you can use the replace value in Excel in Power Query. Okay, then we have merge and query here. So merge queries here means you want to merge multiple tables together. That is, you want to do joins in, we call it joins in SQL, and we call this data model in Power BI, but here we call this merge in Power Query. Okay, if you want to learn how to use this properly, then check my video on how to analyze data using Excel. This is it here. Check it out. It's in my profile. Then you see video on how to analyze that with Excel. I demonstrate this with multiple examples on how to use merges and appends. Okay, but I can actually use append here, so you can understand it here. Let me duplicate this particular table here, so you can have two different tables. So I want to append these two tables, the sales data 1 and sales data 2 here, and they are both 200 columns, right? Okay, now if I append these two tables, now click on append. If I append these two tables, the two tables or more, append table to append is going to be, okay, you can see here that the current table I'm on is the sales data, so that is the current table. So just choose the other table. That is this one, and click on OK. So it will append those two tables for me. Now we have 400 rows. So the original one has how many rows? It has 200 rows. Now this one has how many rows? It has 400 rows with the equal number of columns. Still the same 10 columns. Okay, that means append actually just join the tables from bottom to each other. Okay, like the first table will be at the top and the last one will be at the bottom. Just join them together. Do you understand? Okay, but they must always have equal number of columns and the same column headers. Okay, before you can easily append them, they must all have equal number of columns and have the same type of data in the column. Like if each of them must have the same data type, like they must all be text or numbers, but they must be the same data type in that particular column to append. Okay, and that is that about the home tab here. So the next tab here is the transform tab. Let's go back to our sales data. So the transform tab here helps us to do the proper data cleaning in our data. Okay, so the first thing here is group by. I've already thought about this one in our home here. So the next thing here is use first row as headers. Same thing, we have it in our home here. We've thought about it here in our home. And next thing here is transpose, like what we had in Excel earlier. We use a function to transfer our data to the other way, like from vertical table to horizontal table. That's what transpose basically does for you. And let's transpose this data here now. You can see they are all in a vertical table. And you can see this is our order ID, full first name, last name, gender, department, products, region, dates, and returned. Those columns are now in a row format now. That is what transpose does. Okay, and we have the reverse row. So this reverse rows basically reverse your rows. Like all these first rows, we go to the last one, and last rows we come to the first row. So in that way, like it is reversing the rows. The first row here, we go to the last one. The second one here, we go to the second to the last bottom. This one goes to the top to the last, and so on and so forth. All the last ones here will now come and become the four, like you're reversing the order of the rows. Okay, that's what the reverse row does. Okay, now let's do it. So let's note that we have Laura Hernandez as last row here, and then we have Sarah Brown as the second to the last. Now let's reverse the rows. Now we have Laura Hernandez as first, and we have Sarah as second. As you can see, it's just reverse the order of those rows. Okay, and next one here is the count row. So this count rows basically count how many rows we have, though we know it's here, there are 200, right? So there should be 200 here as well. That is how count rows work. Yeah, let's undo that. And next thing here is, let's go back to the transform here. So the next thing here is data type. We've talked about this one too in the home here. Okay, and we have the rename. I've shown you how to rename. Just click on the column and then click on the rename to rename the column header, and that is that. So the next one is the replace. I've spoken about that one as well here, how to replace value in your columns. And then you have the fill here. So the fill means you want to select something to fill the entire column. So now I'm clicking on one cell here. Now if I want to fill means I want to fill it down to select the entire column. Okay, that's what the fill does. I won't explain this pivot and pivot table on pivot column because there is no use case here to explain it with. Okay, just confuse you even more. Okay, so the next thing here is this move. So move here can actually help you to move your column from one state to another state. I mean, this is in the second. Okay, let's see this one now. This is a first column here. If I want to move this first column here to the last column, I'll just click on the move here. You can see move to the end. So to move that order ID to the last column, as you can see it here. If I want to move this return here to the beginning, I'll just click on it and then move to the beginning. That is what move basically does. You can also convert this return here to a list. So click here to convert it to a list. You can see it is showing as a list for you now. Okay, and next thing here, let's go back to the transform. Next thing here is a split column. I've done this one for you in our home tab as well. And we have the, now this is where the analysis, now the cleaning comes in now. So we have the formats here. The formats here basically help us to clean our data, like all those functions we explained in Excel, test functions. They are all here. You can see the upper, lower, proper, trim, clean, prefix, suffix. So now let's use each of them now. So if I want to change these first names here to a lowercase, I just click on this lower, it will automatically change all these first names. You can see them here. It will change all the first names here to a lowercase for me. If I want to change it back to an uppercase, I'll just click on upper. To change all of them back to uppercase, you can just click. You don't need to write any function for a Power Query to work. Okay, then let's go to capitalize each word. Means the proper case, the proper function in our Excel. So it will just change, like first letter will be upper and the rest will be lowercase. And then we have the trim. So the trim here basically does the same thing that the trim does for you in Excel. Okay, like to remove any space that you might have in your, that you might not even be aware of. So just click on trim. I don't see it, but it's actually very important to be using trim every time you want to use any clean data. And next one here is the clean. Clean also helps you to remove non-printable characters from your data. And we have the add suffix here. You can easily add any prefix rather. Like maybe you want to add 1 point to all of your first names. So if we have 1 point, then first name. So then we have 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. That's what we call the prefix. So let's add a suffix as well. Let's add name as their suffix. So add name. Guys, they all have name, but there's no space, right? So now, because I made a mistake when I was trying to like do this, right? So now I want to go and do that again. So I'll just come to the last thing I did, which is the added suffix here. I'll click on this small button here, double click on it. Now it will bring up what you did earlier, what you did last rather. So you can now, so I want to add a space between the name and their first names and the NAME here. So I just put a space here and then press enter. Now there will be a space between the name and the first name. Okay, that's how this one works. Okay, so another one is the extract here. Okay, so now we have the extract here. So let's go to extract. So this one actually is also like the length function in Excel. LEN function in Excel, that is the length here. This shows you the length of each of these names in your column. As you can see, the length, like how many alphabets we have in these names. So that is what this means. Okay, and the next thing there is what we call the first character. This is the same thing as left function in Excel. That is helps you to get the first characters in your data. So you have to specify many characters from the first character. So now I want to remove all this 1 point space. So that is, we have one, we have the dot, and we have the space. I want to remove the 3 characters from my table here. Okay, so first characters are going to be 3. So it only gets me those 1 point and the space. That's how that works. Okay, now let's extract the last one. Let's extract all the names NEME here. Okay, that is last characters. So we have 4 different characters in NAME. That's 4. So I will extract only those names as you can see them here. That is how extraction works as well. And let's see, we have the range. This one is like mid. Okay, so the mid is like we specify where to start from and where to stop. Okay, so now I want to start from the 4th one. So here now is how to extract only the names here. I will just leave 1 point the space. So we have 1 point and the space. We have 3 characters now. So I will start from starting index should be 3, but here is going to be 2. Okay, the number of characters to get is going to be, let's get 6 characters. 6. Okay, as you can see here. So that is how the mid works. Okay, let's undo that. And next one is text before delimiter. Yeah, so the text before delimiter here is like text before function in Excel. If you have the text before function in your own Excel, so you have the text before function, text before. Okay, so the delimiter here is going to be the space here. So all the text before the space will be getting for me. All the text before, that means if I put a space here now, all the delimiter here is going to be space, that is the space bar. just press the space bar like this. So the space is the delimiter here. So all the text before the space will be gotten for me. That is 1 point empty. Those are tests before the space. So now the text after space, now go here again, text after the delimiter. So the delimiter here is still the same space. Now the text after the space, that's the David and the name. Okay, so it will ignore the 1 point space and they get us the David and the name here. Okay, let's undo that as well. I think we are done here. So you have text between the delimiter. This one actually gets us the first name only. So text between the delimiters. So we have two delimiters here, the space and the space here. So two spaces. Text between the delimiters. So the first delimiter is the space. That is your back space bar, and this one end delimiter should be the space bar as well. Then click on OK to get you only the first names. Okay, so you have different options you can use to clean your data set here. So there's also like, I don't know how to use it, or I don't know how to do it. Okay, so we have different options to clean your data in Power Query, and it's so easy to use, as you can see as I'm doing it here happily. Okay, so next thing is the pass. So the pass here, I don't know how it's okay. The pass here works with XML and the JSON. So XML is like the HTML, that is the web page. Okay, in case there's no HTML, like the web page, and JSON is like JavaScript object notation. Okay, so I don't use that one actually. So we have statistics here. So this actually works on our revenue. Where is the revenue? Where did I put it? Okay, they are here. So this works on our revenue. If I want to see my okay, some of my revenue now, is just sum them all up for me. That's 820k. That's my total revenue there. And if I want to get my, what else is there? Where's the revenue? Here. Go back to the transform. If I want to get my max revenue, it will get it for me, 14.6. As you can see, if I want to get my, where's the revenue? If I want to get my mean, you can see the mean average and all of those ones here, as well. You can just check it out and see for yourself. Okay, and that's that about the transform tab. Okay, so the last tab here is the add column tab. Okay, so this add column tab here, it actually works like the transform tab. I'll show you the difference now. You can see that we have all those extracts here, they are all here as well, and all those formats, they are also all here, and our sizes are also all here. Okay, I'll show you how they actually work separately from that. Okay, the last one is actually dates. Yeah, I have the dates here. So the dates here basically helps you to extract a particular dates you want to extract. Maybe you want to extract only days, the month or the year or the quarters. It will help you to do even the weeks. So help you to extract them. Now, if I want to extract only the years from this dates here, I'll just click on dates here, then click on the year, then year. It will extract only the years of those sales for me. Okay. If I want to extract only the months, I'll just click on I like the dates and then click on the month name of month, that is the name of April, October, and so on. So extract only the month for you. This is even easier than Excel. Okay, if I want to get only the week, so week, end of the week, to get to those weeks only. Okay, but I want to undo this now. I will explain more and get to the add column part. Okay, so now my add column here, we have all the things that we had earlier in the transform tab here, but now we have extra ones. We have from here to this place, but from here all the way to the end, they are all in our transform tab here. So we have slightly difference between transform and add column. Okay, because now if I want to change all my gender here to uppercase in my transform tab, now I want to transform all my gender here to uppercase. Now I'm using transform tab. You can see that you go formats here and then choose uppercase. It will transform our gender to uppercase here. Okay, it is going to transform that particular column to uppercase. Okay, but if I go to, let me undo this now, and then I'll do the same thing in my add column tab. So click on the add column tab here and then go to format again. Now if I want to transform all this my gender here now to uppercase, so this is going to leave this particular gender column alone and just generate an extra column for me, which will be uppercase column, unlike the transform tab. Okay, if I click on uppercase now, it will generate an extra column for me, which will be uppercase. And now that particular gender is still intact. Nothing happens to the gender, but unlike when you want to do it in transform tab here, let's transform this uppercase now. So it will change that particular column. Okay, it will change it, but in our add column, it's just add an extra column for you and doing what you ask it to do, which is change the upper, change the upper. So you can even use the same cell to generate more things. Okay, like use the same cell when you are in add column. Of course, you can see add new column. When you are in add, you can easily generate another one for this, maybe the lowercase, which is lowercase. You can also use the same cell again to generate the sentence case. You can see it here, the same cell, but once you are using transpose, you're going to change that particular column to what you want to change it to. Same as when you're using extract. It's just okay. Let's try it on this same one now. Let's get only the days from here, only days from our date now using the extract here. So I will use the text before delimiter here. So text before delimiter is going to be, the limiter is going to be this. Okay, now all the text before this delimiter, which is what, which is 07 here. So click on it. So to get those 07, you can see it here as a new column for me, leaving the normal data as it was without touching it at all. That's how add column works. So I prefer using add column most of the time compared to the transform column. Okay, so the next one here is the date. So you don't have to be using this one actually. Okay, let's delete this. Okay, so now we work with dates now. So if I want to generate my years, just come here, then click on the year. It will get the year for you in a new column entirely, leaving your dates intact. Nothing happens to my dates. Okay, you can also get the month from the same dates here, month name. The month will be gotten for you, as you can see it here, and my date is still as it's intact here. Okay, I can also get other things, maybe the day. As you can see here, dates will be gotten for you as well, and your date is still intact here, and that's why you should be using the add column instead of the transform column. Okay, except what I want to use is not, because there's no space columns here or group by, they are not here, so you have to use it from your transform column here. Okay, so the last two thing I want to show you here is the custom column here. The custom column here is used to generate an extra column. You can see what it means. Put your mouse on it. So create a new column in this table based on a custom formula. So use the formula to create an additional column in your table. Okay, so I'll just come here, custom column, click on it. Okay, and then the column name, new column name is going to be full name, because I want to join my first name and last name together and make them a full name, right? So now the formula is going to be the first name here. Click on insert to put the first name here into my formula, then plus now the last name. So first name plus the last name. So click on OK. Okay, there's an error there, so I will have to go and edit my error now. So double click on here, and then first name, let's use Ampersand here. Now you can see we have first name Ampersand last name. That I want to join the first name to the last name, but now there is no space there between them. So we have to click here to go and let's see if we can put space here. I'm not sure how it's going to work. Click on OK. So the space will not work here. Okay, so that is how to join your first name and last name. You can also use it to do multiple things as well. So another thing is what we call the conditional column. Okay, I explained to you that if I want to, what condition can I use here? Okay, I did something earlier in our revenue, right? Was in our revenue when I was using the if. I'm looking for what example to use. Okay, let's use this particular days here. Okay, so if these days here, if these days are less than 20, that means it's early days. If it is above 20, that means it's late days, right? So this conditional column here means like the if in our conditional functions, but here we use conditional column. Okay, so it's same thing as the if or ifs. So now if these days are less than 20, then it is actually early days. If they are later than 20, that means they are late days. Okay, so let's come to our conditional column here. So custom name, this is going to be early. Okay, let's use early like question mark. So is it early? So column name, if the days here, so the days column here, choose the day here, equals, let's not use equal, let's use less than 20, less than 20. Then okay, early means if it is less than 20, then it is early, right? So early can just say yes, because I'm already asking a question. This is my column header here. Let's enter so you can see what I'm talking about. So the column header says early, like is this early? And I said if the days here are less than 20, that means they are early. That means yes, they are early. If it is above 20, that means no. No means they are not early, right? Hope you get what I'm saying now. Okay, I'll just click here and then go and edit my formula. So are they early? Yes. And else, that means else is here. Else, that means they are not early, which is no. So now we have yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So let's check. So 26 means no. 29 should be no. 23 should be no. Anything 20 and above should be no, no, no. Anything below 20 should be yes, yes, yes. That is what early here means. That is it early sales? Yes. Is it late sales? No. So is it early sales? Yes. Is it early sales? No. So those two options are now here. Okay, that's how to use the conditional column. Now the last one here is the index columns. Okay, so index column here basically helps you to generate an index column like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So just click on index column here, then it's going to generate it for you. You can see the index column here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 to where your column, your rows end there. So you can also specify where you want to start the index columns from, maybe from 0 or from 1. So starting index should be 1 and increase each of them by 1. So start from 1 and increase this by 1, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 till infinity. See anywhere your table reaches and it ends there. That is how the index column was. So now we have this duplicate column here. Let's duplicate this gender here. Just click here and to duplicate the column for you have gender copy here and the original one is here. That is how duplicate column works. Okay, and that is how to use Power Query in Excel. So now if you want to return to your Excel to now analyze this data you cleaned now, you just go to your home and then click on close and load. That will close this data here and then load it into your Excel for you. As you can see, it is loading. So now you can see our data that we've cleaned here. Okay, it is not showing the entire thing, right? So let's go back to our power. I don't know why that is not showing for us. Let's see what is happening there. Oh, it's showing none values. Why? Appended. Oh, so this is the right data actually. So this should be the right data here. Let's click on apply again. That means we have two different tables here. So this is not the one we were cleaning earlier. So this was the one we were cleaning earlier, as you can see it here. So this one contains all the things that we did in our data clean. You can see how smooth the data looks like now. So this is now what we can work with and get our quick insight from it. Okay, and that's how to use Power Query in Excel. So the last thing here is the pivot table and pivot chart in Excel. So how do you use pivot table and pivot chart in Excel? So first of all, we have to format our data as an Excel table. So Control T and press enter to format this as an Excel table. Let me increase it so you can see it properly as well. So now we have pivot table is used to summarize our data or to do data analysis using our Excel. If you want to analyze any data set in Excel, you have to use pivot table to analyze those data in Excel. Or if you want to summarize any data in Excel, you have to use pivot table to summarize data in Excel. And if you want to show your data as a chart, okay, you have to use pivot chart then to show data as a chart. Okay, so now let's go and analyze this data in pivot table. Let's delete these particular columns because we don't need them. We already have our total revenue there. Okay, so we have this data set here now formatted as an Excel table format. Okay, so now let's go to table design here and then click on summarize the pivot table. So if you click on this now, this is table range, this is table's name here, and then we have new sheet, existing sheet. So if you want to do this in this same existing sheet, I'll just click on this and then I'll choose location here and then just put it somewhere here, then click on OK. So I can easily use my pivot table in this same sheet here. Okay, now if I want to see all the total, the gender here by their total revenue, here should be revenue. Let's change this to revenue. So gender here by total revenue. So I'll just click here again. Now we have total price still. So if I refresh this pivot table now, Let's refresh pivot table. So it's going to reflect those things. You can see now we have revenue here instead of total price here. Okay, I want to see my gender here by total revenue. I'll just drag gender here to my rows and then drag total revenue here to my values. And I can see the gender here by each of the revenue they made for us. So that means the female gender give us 270k, the male is 295k, the others are 249k. Okay, that is how to use pivot table. I don't want pivot table inside the existing sheet. I want the pivot table in a new sheet entirely. So I'll just come here and then use my table design, then summarize the pivot table again. Then I want it in a new worksheet. That way I can easily express myself very well in the new worksheet. Okay, so we have a new worksheet here where I can express myself. I will explain all this to you step by step how to use them. Okay, so the first thing you have to know is that all the columns that we have in our pivot table here, let me delete some of these things like this one. We are done with it, right? So I can delete it, and this one as well, so I can delete it. Okay, so all the columns that we have here, you can see how many columns you have here. We have the order ID, first name, last name, gender, department, product, region, order dates, revenue, and the return. So we have all those things here as well. You can see them here: order ID, name, last name, first name, gender, department, product, region, and so on. We have all of them here now. Okay, those are the fields in our table. Okay, so now we now have each of these areas. You have the filter here. The filter here works like the filter in our table here. If you want to filter for only female gender here, now you can just filter for only female gender. You can see here to filter for only female gender here. Okay, that is how filter works in our pivot table as well. So let's go back to the pivot table here. So now if I put anything inside this filter here, let me put the gender there. You can easily filter for whatever you want to see, but let's analyze some data first. Okay, so I'll just come here. So let's put the gender, the revenue here, and then put the gender in the rows. So I will explain them to you, so don't worry. So now let's go and turn on a particular filter. So let's turn on your department filter now. Okay, so this filter basically helps you to filter your pivot table. So now I have my pivot table here, right? And I want to apply this filter to my pivot table. So I want to filter for only the finance departments now. So I want to see the sales I made from the finance department alone. So I'll just click here now and choose finance and then click on OK. So these are only the sales I made from finance department. That is 113k from finance department alone. If I want to choose multiple items, I'll just come and check on this and then select multiple departments. I want to see marketing and finance sales now. Altogether, I can see multiple items. Finance and marketing sales is this one. Okay, that's how the filter works. Okay, so now the next one is the rows and columns here. So these rows and columns here, I explained to you what the vertical table and the horizontal tables are. So the vertical tables are this one. So vertical tables are the rows here, and the horizontal table is like the columns here. Okay, if I change this gender here to the column here, so you can see our table as horizontal table now. Can you see it now? If I change this gender here to the rows again, you'll be seeing the table as a vertical table. That's just the difference between the rows and column, but you can also combine the two of them together, okay, by adding the dates here, other dates. Let's add other dates to the column so you can see the other dates. So you can see all the sales we made in 2022, 2023, and 2024. So this is 2023 sales, 2022 sales, 2023 sales, 2024 sales here. Which one has the highest sales? We made the highest one in 2022, as you can see it here. So this is how you can compare. Let's remove the filter here, select all, and then OK. So you can see the sales we made in each of those years. Highest sale came in 2024 and so on and so forth. Okay, that's how you can combine both of them together and make it make sense. Okay, so let's remove all this now. You can even see the monthly sales by female. So in the months of each of the months here, you can see each of the months here and how much you made from each of these gender here. That's how you can combine both of them to make the reasonable analysis. Okay, that's data about. And the last one here is the value. So the values here only accept numbers. Okay, either the account or the sum or the max or the mean or the count or the average, anyone wants to use. Okay, that is what this one accepts. Okay, so even if I drag a test value, let me remove this date first. If I drag a test value here now, let me say I drag let's check the test value here. I can see that we have the return here, this return here, they are all tests, right? So let me go and use this in my pivot table now. The return here, put it in your value to change it to a count. That's because you can't use tests inside these values. It will change all the tests to count for you. Okay, you can see the count of each of our genders here. The females are 60, the 61, the males are 69, the others are 70. You can see the count of each. We have a total of 200 here. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, even if you drag the revenue here, you can also change this revenue here to a count or to max or to average, any one of your choices. So just come to the value field settings here, then change it to a count and click on OK. Now this is count of our total revenue. You can change this to average as well. So go to the field setting here and then choose average. So this is our average sales now. Or just right click on these values here, right click on them and then go to summarize value by. You can choose count, yes, same thing, or you can choose sum, the same thing. Okay, that is how you use pivot table. So now we have extra tab for our pivot table up here, right? So this extra tab here actually helps us, just like the Excel table earlier when I was explaining it. So you have extra tab for Excel tables as well, just like this one. Okay, for our pivot table too, there's an extra tab here, which is, in fact, we have two extra tabs here. The first one is table design, and we have the pivot table analyze here. Okay, if you click on this now, you see the pivot table name, which is pivot table 2. We have options here, and we have the active field, which is the revenue here, and we have the show details. So this show detail is going to show you where all these sales are coming from. If I click on show details here now, so to show you all this, where all these sales are coming from, let me highlight this so you can see it properly. Only these particular sales I'm highlighting now to show you where they are coming from. If I click on show details, right? So click again and then go to pivot table analyze and show details. It will show you where all these female sales came from. Now let's show detail now. You can see they are all female because I'm showing for only female sales. This is where they are coming from. The same thing as if I go to the male. If I go to the male here and then click on show details, I will show me all the details of those male sales. You can see them here. That's how show detail works. Okay, and the next thing here is the inserts. Okay, so the insert here basically helps you to insert slicer, like I explained to you earlier. So that actually helps you to, you know, slice your pivot table the way you want. So if I want to slide this one by, let me use a department now. Okay, so now I want to see all the sales I made from the HR. So you can see the slicer and the filter are also working hand in hand. As you can see, the slicer here is changing from the filter as well. So these are all the sales I made from the HR department, and these are the sales I made from the IT department. You can see they are all changing together. These are the sales I made from the operation department and sales and so on. Sales people are returning less values, 89k alone. Okay, that's how to use the slicers here. Okay, and next one here is the timeline. So timeline only works with dates. It's just like a slicer, but it works with dates only. If you check the timeline here and then click on OK, then you can see the timeline here. So you can choose when you made the sale. So let me see all the sales I made in September. Just click on September alone. So these are all the sales I made in September. Then click on August alone. So these are all the sales I made in August. Then click on October alone. So these are the sales I made in October. Let's select multiple from August to November. These are the sales I made from August to November here. That's how timeline works. It only works with dates alone. Okay, so the next thing here is filter connection. Manage which filter the pivot table is connected to. So this is actually, it's connected to the both filters, okay, which is this one and this one. So you can actually undo this. So that means this dates here will not be affecting this particular pivot table again. So let's click on OK. Now let's choose this now. It will not affect it again because I've disconnected that particular filter from it. So it will not affect it again. But if I go back to the filter connection and I connect this other date here to the pivot table, then it will affect it now. Can you see it is affecting it now? Okay, that's how filter connection works. So now if I want to refresh this, I think I did this one earlier. If I add an extra thing to your table, you want to refresh it to reflect in your table, you just come to refresh here and it will reflect in your table. Okay, then this one is if you want to change your source of data set. Okay, you can easily change your data source here now to a new source entirely, but I don't have any source here, so I'll just, you can see, you can choose where the source is coming from or anywhere, but I think we're good now. So the next thing here is clear. So you can clear the entire pivot table. So clear all pivot table. I don't want to clear the entire pivot table. You can also select the entire pivot table. You can select the entire pivot table. You can also move the pivot table to any location. Let's move it here. So you see how it's a jump now. Can you see? Now we have the pivot table here. Now let's make it enlarge it so there will be space. So that's how to move your pivot table. Okay, so the next thing here is the field item and settings. So this helps you to create a new item in your data. Okay, and this one here is the pivot chart. So this helps you to create your table here as a chart in a chart format. Okay, if I click on pivot chart here, this will show me how to create a chart with my table. So this table here is now showing for you as a chart, as you can see it here. So you can just rename the chart here to, this should be gender by revenue. This is gender here by revenue. Okay, so this is my pivot chart. If you want to learn more about how to build dashboard in Excel and how to analyze data in Excel properly, you can watch my video on how to analyze data with Excel. That shows complete detail of how to analyze complete data sets with Excel. Okay, but this one is actually on how to use Excel entirely. Okay, so that's how to create a chart. So now we have different charts here. Actually, let me create a new pivot table. And let's go all the way down here and paste it here. So now let's change some things here now. But this is not showing. Let's paste it here. Still not showing. Okay, we have to highlight the entire thing. That's why. Yeah, we have to highlight the entire thing. So now you can see here. Let's change this gender here to a date, which is like the monthly sales now. So these are our monthly sales. So you can easily represent this one too in a pivot chart here. So click on pivot chart, our monthly sales. So for time series data, we use line chart here to represent our time series data. So monthly sales, daily sales, weekly sales, quarterly sales, and yearly sales, they are all time series data. So we use line chart to represent our time series data. Okay, so we choose a line chart here. As you can see, we use line chart like this chart here to represent our monthlies, our time series data, like the monthly sales, daily sales, yearly sales, quarterly sales, or weekly sales. They are all time series data. So this is our monthly sales here. Okay, so this is how to represent your monthly. So you can also sort this one as, let's sort our pivot tables. You can automatically sort our chart as well. So let's sort this from highest to the smallest. So sort from the largest to the smallest, as you can see. So it can sort that our line chart, and we can see the progression of the sales over the months. Okay, so that is how we can use pivot table. So let's see what we have in the design here. So this design here basically just like those design we have in our Excel table. So this one shows subtotal. Let's explore this grand total here. So this grand total basically helps you to show the grand total or hide the grand total. Okay, so you can off the grand total for both column and rows. So it's going to turn it off now. It is gone here. Okay, so let's go and see the grand total again. Let's show it for both of them. On it for both. Okay, because we have only one here, but let's add another thing to this one now. So let's add the region now to this in the column. As you can see what is happening here. So this is like the region by the monthly sales. So this is monthly sales by region. Let me rename this now because we have additional thing to it. So this is monthly sales by region. Monthly sales by region. Okay, so you can see here we have the September, the monthly are here, and we have the region up here. Okay, that is our monthly sales by region. So I want to see grand total. You can see the grand total here. We also see the count data. That means I'm showing the count data for the rows and for the columns. So let's off it for both. Now they are both gone. Let's show it for both. You can also show it for only one. Let's show it for only the rows, as you can see, and let's show it for only the columns. As you can see, that's how to show that, okay? And we have the report layout and so on. And we have the row header here. How does that work? It's not affecting the column header. Yeah, this means you want to remove the label, like the format in the column header. As you can see, it is removing the format here, and just showing it as well. We have the banded row here. You can see what is happening there. And banded column, choose this one. You can see what's happening here. You can see. So that is how that works, okay? So this is how you can generate your charts and your pivot table in Excel. And I hope this video helps you to learn Excel. And if this really helps you a lot to learn Excel, please leave a comment for me so I can easily know how it helps you, and I can do for Power BI as well and for other tools as well. So this is going to encourage me to do even more for you, okay? This is all for you. So please leave a comment and also like and share with your friends, okay? And watch out for my other videos, and also see my other videos I've done on Power BI, Excel and SQL as well. So I'll see you in my next video. Ciao.